Yo, what is good, man? Couple housekeeping issues, you understand? Patreon.com/Raymond Isaiah. I need to do better with promoting the Patreon. Along with that, Raymond Isaiah podcast. I've been doing a lot more interviews to come in the near future. I think I have one probably Sunday. A young lady from Indonesia. That'd definitely be an interesting conversation. I've been handpicking people from TikTok. It's a smorgasbord. It's a buffet to just grab people from TikTok and like, bro, you want to come on and talk at length? You know, I know you posting your 2-3 minute videos. Come talk for 3 hours. And, you know, been getting pretty good response. Been getting a pretty good variety of individuals from TikTok. So I'm definitely looking forward to expanding the podcast. So definitely go check out Raymond Isaiah podcast. Links in the description for everything I ever mentioned, because I don't like repeating myself and I don't like sending links to individuals. Every link that, if you want to support this channel in any way, if you want to support my podcast channel in any way, links are all in the description. If you have questions about the gear I use, any of that is in the description. Your boy is civilian, more or less, you understand. Your boy served his country as best as he could. He went to war, you understand. He went to the highways and the byways, and he, you know, assaulted the enemy. 6 years, bruh. 6 years in the books. It's been interesting. I started this channel in 2017. I believe it was June 2017. And by the way, this is a live Q&A. If you have any questions, and I see everyone who, fake sale was here mad early, bruh. Mad early to the stream. Appreciate you. Peace 123. Appreciate you. But yeah, this live Q&A. Any questions you have about the Air Force, drop them in here. Whatever. Fuck it. You got any questions about the Air Force, drop them in here. I still answer Air Force questions, just not typically in video form. I always direct people to Patreon if you want to access me directly. If you hit me up on Instagram, I will respond, but I'm going to direct you to Patreon, mainly because my life has to be monetized now. Your boy's civilian. I started this channel in 2017, back in tech school, and I was like, it's a little hobby. You know, I've seen Christian Guzman and Chris Jones and, you know, Simeon Panda, all my favorite YouTubers, you know, start their channels, what have you. And I'm like, bruh, I can do that, bruh. They're eating Chipotle, bruh. I can start a channel, bruh. They ain't nothing. So, of course, I'm like, bruh, what does a YouTuber do? They post content. At the bare minimum, a YouTuber simply posts content. I talked to my mom this morning, and I'm embarrassed to admit it was the first time in several months. I'm embarrassed to admit that. But I watched the TikTok, and it inspired me. Bro, call your mom, bro. Bro, call your mom. And she was so excited. We talked for a good hour and some change. But anyway, yeah, it's been a pretty good morning. But yeah, started my channel back in 2017, and I'm like, bro, if these YouTubers can do it, if these authors can self-publish, if podcasters can literally start podcasting by talking, you even need a fancy microphone. You can use a cell phone. I'm like, the least I can do is try. So I posted my first video. You know, it didn't get no traction. It didn't get any traction. I'm like, fuck it. Post another one. And I posted like 10 vlogs in a row. No traction, no love. People around me like, bro, why do you have a camera, bro? I'm like, bro, I'm trying to eat, bro. You understand? I'm trying to eat, you understand? You know, why does everybody else get to be a YouTuber, bro? Little Joe for the, you understand. So yeah, over 1,200 videos later, 6 years in the Air Force, you know, I started off making content about the Air Force, and that's where I got the most traction. And the bulk of you are here because of my Air Force content, not because of anything else I've ever said. And so, of course, I'm grateful for the Air Force for giving me something to talk about, because at first, when I was starting my channel, I was like, I don't know what to talk about. What can I talk about that I know anything about, that I have any level of expertise in, that people will actually listen to me talk? And I'm like, well, you joined the Air Force successfully. A lot of people are struggling through that. I struggled through that. Why not talk about the Air Force, bruh? And I think I was going home on Exodus. Yeah, was it? Or did I? Yeah, I think I was going home for Exodus, and I was like, let me answer some questions about honor grad or, you know, tech school, what have you. And those videos immediately picked up. I was like, ooh, don't do that, bruh. Don't do that. And I was like, bruh, I want to talk about the Air Force. Like, bruh, if they give you traction, bro, you got to eat off that. If they give you traction off the Air Force stuff, you got to eat off that. So I was like, fuck it. So yeah, I started making a lot more Air Force content. At one point I was making up to 5 videos a day, Air Force content, 5 videos a day, pumping them out, pumping them out. Especially when they dropped the advisory that, we're not going to monetize you until you hit 1,000 subs, 4,000 watch hours. I was like, bruh, I had like 500 subs. I'm like, bruh, I'm trying to eat, bruh. People eating Chipotle, people sitting in hot tubs, getting paid for free. I'm sitting here trying to think of content to make. And of course, finally I'm monetized, and it's not all that. I mean, it's money. It's definitely money. And I'm definitely grateful. But ultimately, my goal has always been, I'm like, bro, I want to do YouTube full time, bro. That would be dope. And so I've acquired several mentors as far as, help guiding me. I'm like, bro, stop talking about Air Force, bro. You've been in long enough. You've answered enough questions, over 1,200 videos. Stop talking about Air Force. Stop making Air Force content, bro. Stop it. Talk about other stuff. Talk about culture. Talk about hip hop. Talk about scandal. Talk about rumors. Talk about anything else that appeals to the majority of human beings. The Air Force is only applicable to maybe 1% of the America. It's hard to get in the Air Force. So the people that do have the ability to join the Air Force, they'll find your content, valuable. But as you can see, around 13,000 subscribers, and of course there's other military channels and Air Force channels that grow beyond that, but they often have something I don't have, like a puppy or beauty, or they can sing too or something. I'm giving raw Asperger type information. I'm like, bruh, look in the recruiter's eye, tell them don't lie to you, do some research on them, find where they live so they don't try to force you into aircraft mechanics. I'm giving this raw, analytical thinking. I'm like, that's not really going to entertain people. People don't, come to my channel typically for entertainment. They typically come here for information. They come here for, analytics and perspective and philosophy and what have you, which I'm kind of proud of my brand, but we have to adjust. We have to adjust, and hence the podcast channel and talking to different individuals, talking about different topics. You see, I post mostly clips on this. This is really like my clips channel now, where this is the variety channel. I post everything on here, but my podcast channel, that's where I really get to go in depth. It's long form content, hours long, where I really get to dive into topics and really take my time doing so. So, but yeah, it's been an interesting journey of learning YouTube, learning the algorithm, discovering myself, discovering my love of teaching, my love of talking, monologuing and just talking at length. And let me explain this and let me be redundant and let me dig deeper into this concept. I thoroughly enjoy it. I love it. So, again, this is a live Q&A, but yeah, I'm out the Air Force. 6 years wasn't too bad. My bases consisted of Lackland. Obviously, you can't avoid Lackland. Basic training. From there, I went to Keesler for tech school. I almost went to California because I failed my first AFSC. So yeah, I almost got sent to California, Port Hueneme, for vehicle maintenance. They almost got me, but luckily your boy was out there hooping, sprained his ankle. I did not get crossed. You understand? Nobody came for my life, but one bad rebound, and I avoided vehicle maintenance. So they sent me back. Night CQ, like, don't worry about it, bro. We'll find something for you. And got sent to finance. Definitely passed that one. I was like, I ain't about to fail again. You only get 1 or 2 chances, bro. You can't fuck up again. Learned how to study, taught myself how to study, and aced finance. First base, Andrews Air Force Base, Maryland, right outside DC. I was out there for roughly 4 or so years. Deployed to the Middle East. I was at Abu Dhabi for around 8 months or so. 6 to 8 months, something like that. Serving in the war zone and dodging bullets and firing back, you understand, sending shrapnel down the range and taking lives and what have you. Serving my country. Came back and got sent to the Pentagon for 8 months. Doing the same finance work that I was doing at Andrews. It was just an extension of our office. We had 4 individuals up there, 3 of them active duty and 1 civilian. And yeah, we were the Air Force representatives for finance at the Pentagon. And so that was an interesting, experiment. If you have any questions about that, drop in the chat. Again, if you want to support the channel in any way, super chats are definitely welcome and appreciated. But yeah, Pentagon was a very interesting experience, just rubbing shoulders with a lot of the elites and the higher ups. And you say, oh, that's a lot of stars, sir. And you walk past the Marine corridor and I'm like, there's so much red on y'all. Or like, why would y'all paint y'all walls red, bro? Like, y'all trying to be intimidating? Like, we don't care that y'all get to ruck march and sleep in the field, bro. It's too much. Like, why do y'all have to paint y'all walls red? You walk down the Air Force, corridor, and it's just planes everywhere and murals. Like, it's like walking through a museum. Every wall has something on it. You walk down the Coast Guard, they got their own little section. And I'm like, that's cute, bruh. That's cute. Y'all got a little boat on the wall, bruh. That's cute. The Navy got their little dusty section. They don't like care about that, bruh. And the Army try like they better than the rest of us. I'm like, bruh, I don't like care about y'all, bruh. Go to the field, bruh. Go to the field, bruh. Don't like care about that. I don't care about that, bruh. It was different. It was different. It was definitely an interesting experience. I see you, diary. We'll definitely get that question addressed. So yeah, after the Pentagon, it was right before PCS season. I was like, I gotta get out of here, bro. For those of you who don't know, officers, they move so much. If you want to travel often and a lot in the Air Force, become an officer. It's not the easiest task to just become an officer, but officers travel the most in the military outside of like the flying AFSCs. They move, I think, something like every 2 years or so. Every 2 years or so, they are going someplace else because they're immediately acquiring experience of handling different regions, handling different missions. It's not always their career field that they're in. They might just be at the Pentagon being a, assistant to a general or somebody, or to, somebody higher up. So it's different, for officers. So when you work at the Pentagon and 99% of people that work there are officers, and they move every 2 years, and you're finance, and they come to see you, and I'm like, bro, I got to out process, I got to in process, I got to out process, I got to in process. I'm like, bro, I'm not trying to stay here through this, bro. Get me out of here. I was like, bro, I'll go anywhere. Little did I know that would be one of the worst mistakes I ever made in my human life. Who would have thought? Who would have thought that leaving the Pentagon would be one of the worst mistakes I ever made in my life? While I'm talking about the Pentagon, I might as well address this question. How was it working in the Pentagon, and would you like to go back and work there as a civilian? Working at the Pentagon, in general, it's the building itself has a mystique to it. Coming from a mindset of like you watch movies and you're like, oh, the Pentagon, just got to get the Pentagon on the phone. Russia is escalating the conflict. We got to talk to the president immediately. Get the president on the phone. The Pentagon has this mystique about it of as soon as you walk in the doors, you realize just a big mall on top of a mall. There's 5 floors that I'm aware of. I'm sure there's extra basements and hidden closets and stuff in there. Apparently there's a pink water fountain that you have to it's like a scavenger hunt. Find the pink water fountain. I'm not going looking for nothing. Not nobody's Pentagon. You don't catch me lacking, bro. But yeah, the Pentagon was definitely interesting. It's not difficult to work there, but they do expect you to know how to do your job, mainly because they don't send A1Cs and the majority of the enlisted force at the Pentagon is personnel and finance. Finance obviously being a lot lower in terms of numbers, but personnel is a pretty large squadron there, and they handle the majority of the branches there. But yeah, majority of the enlisted people are personnel, but our finance officers happen to be in the personnel office as well. So it wasn't difficult there, but you do have to know how to do your job. There was only 3 individuals that were enlisted from finance there, my supervisor and then another senior airman or staff sergeant that I worked with. It wasn't difficult. It's just, again, you're dealing with higher ups. You're dealing with a level of entitlement because you have colonels that are, it's kind of like senior airmen because there's so many of them. So like on a normal base, like in a base in the Midwest somewhere, Tinker or Offutt or something, you might have 1 or 2 colonels come to your office a week. Whereas at the Pentagon, you might have 10 in the same day. I'm like, bro, where are y'all coming from? Like they all work there. It's a hub. It's a hub of leadership for the military and the DoD at large. So it was difficult to deal with. You're constantly dealing with high-ranking individuals who kind of got used to a certain level of, why would I wait in line? Like, why would I? Of course, like help me, like go above and beyond for every single customer. And ideally, you would like to, but practically you can't. You can't. And you got generals that send their execs down and they just kind of skip the entire line, walk straight to your office. I'm like, I know you're, all right, so it's a captain that works for, a 2-star or something. And they come down sweating like, oh, my general needs a out processing packet. I'm like, go sign in, Red. Go sign in. My supervisor was like, no, we'll just handle it right here. Because at certain levels, they skip the line. You might have an actual general that walks in and sits in your lobby. And I'll go check the lobby, and there'll be a general sitting there for like 30 minutes. I'm like, what are you doing here, bruh? And he'd be like, bruh, I'm here to pay a debt. I'm, all right, cool. You brought a check? We don't have a safe here, so we can't accept your check. You have to go to Andrews. And that's the correct answer. This is the actual event that happened. I sent the general, I was like, bruh, we don't have a safe here, so you have to go to Andrews to pay that debt if you're paying with check. And then he left, and he was a little upset. And rightfully so, because who wants to go all the way to Andrews from the Pentagon? You got to do all the traffic. Again, it's D.C. Ain't nobody trying to sit in traffic just to go 2 miles. And then I told my supervisor, and she runs back out there. Oh, no. We'll handle it. I'm like, I gave the right answer, bruh. I gave the right answer, bruh. But it is what it is. It is what. So the Pentagon wasn't bad. It was just, it's different. It's a high level of the military where it's a privilege to work there. During COVID, I was going there during the work week. We were supposed to be teleworking, but I would still go there. I'm like, bruh, I'm not working at home ever. I'm not working at home. So I'm going to go there 2 days a week, get all my work done, and chill the rest of the time. That's exactly what I did. It's highly efficient. Pentagon was definitely an interesting place. If you ever get a chance to go there and take a tour, there's a lot of friction getting into the tours and what have you. But if you do get to see a building like that and see kind of the type of person that works there, it's a highly professional building. It's nothing's labeled. You go in there and there's nothing labeled in there. It's just empty wall. Like if you're lost in the Pentagon, people will know because you're just gonna be walking aimlessly trying to figure out where does this go to here. Like I'm lost. So it's definitely interesting. Definitely enjoy working there. Finish up the little timeline of my career before we get to the Q&As and what have you. So left the Pentagon in July of 2020, went to Alaska. The worst experience of my career. I kid you not. The worst experience of my career. Alaska is a beautiful state, a gorgeous state. People love it for some reason. The people that live up there and choose to live up there and don't want to leave, I'm like, it's a beautiful state, but I will never go back. The couple black people that live up there, you just look at them like, what are you doing here, bruh? And they're like, I like snowboarding, man. I'm like, all right, might be, bruh. It's different. Some people go up there and they fall in love with the winters and the outdoors and the nature and the snowboarding and the hiking and the skiing. I'm like, it's not me. I love a good hike, but it wasn't my speed. And that's where I encountered anxiety. A major reason why I'm not in the Air Force anymore was anxiety. I've never experienced a winter like that. And so to experience a winter up close and personal like that, where you got 6 months of darkness, your vitamin D stores are just gone. And like, bruh, let me get all that vitamin D, bruh. Should have been supplementing. My car took L's. Got stuck in ditches, got stuck in driveways, got stuck on the highway, got pulled up hills by other people's trucks, got stuck on the side of a mountain. Just nonstop foolery, bruh. Negative temperatures, your car's coughing. It's plugged into an outlet already. You have to plug your car into outlet overnight. Pretty much whenever you stop it for more than an hour, you plug your car into outlets. It's called winterizing your vehicle. Just nonstop foolishness, bruh. I hated it. I hated every second. Geographically separated. I mean, it's already during the middle of COVID, so I'm stuck in the middle of I'm on a Space Force base that hardly anybody knows about. It's called Clear Air Force Station, Space Force Base, in the middle of nowhere. The nearest gas station was like 45 minutes away. Just surrounded by trees, literally. Nature. It's just too much wilderness for me. I'm like, Brett, no, Brett. Did my little 10 months up there, encountered anxiety, started going through mental health issues. A lot of that's documented on this channel. As far as, how I just kind of made it through it and how I suffered through it. You find a way. You didn't really have a choice. Lean on the people around me. Shout out to my leadership up there. Leadership, saved me from a follow-on to Eielson Air Force Base, which is like an hour north of where I was already at. They try to keep me in Alaska. I'm like, bro, I ain't staying in this state, bro. Shout out to my leadership. They reached all the way up to, I believe it was Chief Master Sergeant of the Space Force, who made some calls to AFPC. I'm like, bro, show love to Isaiah over here, bro. And they was like, Cannon, bro. And that's where I went after I left Alaska. Did a little road trip all the way down from Alaska. Well, I flew from Alaska to Seattle because I was about to drive through Canada during winter and during COVID. No time for all that. But went from Seattle to Cannon. And that's where I was at recently, New Mexico. And that's where I left the Air Force, was Cannon Air Force Base, New Mexico. Apparently it's the worst base in the Air Force. It's a lie. Cannon's not the worst base in the Air Force. It's right next door to Texas. It's not the worst base in the Air Force. It's a myth. It's a lie. There are much worse bases than Cannon Air Force Base in my estimation. Bill Air Force Base looks like a horrible place to be stationed. I drove through there on the way down. Clear Air Force Station, horrible assignment, horrible base. No, don't go. There's not even a gas station on base. Your commissary equivalent is a room the size of this room with some drinks, cigarettes, alcohol, maybe some bleach, maybe. They don't even sell towels. When I first got there, I didn't have a towel. I'm like, bro, I gotta drive an hour to get a towel, bro. Amazon takes a week to deliver. It was a mess. It was a mess. Eielson Air Force Base, also in Alaska. I wouldn't mind J-Bear, which is also that's in Anchorage, Alaska. I wouldn't mind going to J-Bear. That wasn't too bad. Major city, around 300,000 people. Not bad at all. Not bad at all. A lot of resources, malls and shopping, normal stuff. That's where the Best Buy was in Alaska. To find a Best Buy, I had to drive close to 8 hours to go to Anchorage, Alaska. Never again will I step foot in that state. I've seen everything. I did everything. I went to Seward. I saw a bald eagle in the wild. It was amazing. I was like, bro, it's a bald eagle, bro, in the wild, bro. It was amazing. But I'm over that state in its entirety. Everything's bigger up there. People think Texas, everything's bigger. No, everything's bigger than Alaska. I saw ravens that look like puppies. No, never again, Ray. Never again. So, but yeah, Cannon, it's not bad at all. It's right next door to Texas, 10 miles from the Texas border. 6 hours to Dallas, 5-6 hours to Austin, well, around 7 hours to Austin. Houston, 9 hours. Phoenix, 8 hours. Amarillo, 2 hours. Lubbock, around an hour and a half. You have options. If you're willing to hop in the car, if you're willing to burn some gas, if you're willing to, buy a plane ticket or two. Denver's like 7 hours away. Colorado Springs like 6 or so. You have options. And so, of course, that's what I did. Road trips. Every weekend I was going somewhere. I didn't vlog most of it. But yeah, going to Alfleet for the weekend. I'm going to Houston to work out. I would book my Airbnb, hop on the road, get there at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning after leaving work around 4:30, get on the road by 5, drive 9 hours straight, get there at 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, sleep for a couple hours, go to Alfleet around 10, 11 o'clock, work out, enjoy the atmosphere, enjoy the environment, go to Whole Foods, get some lunch, go to the movies. You got to find a way to survive. And luckily now I'm civilian. Your boy can book plane tickets. Your boy can go wherever you want, bruh. I'm grateful. To kind of put a bow on all that real quick before I get to the Q&A part, I really want to talk about the honorable discharge. The honorable, getting an honorable discharge is not as easy as you think. Most people think that as long as you don't get in trouble, you get an honorable discharge. And for the most part, you're right. But just realize that it's kind of easy to fall into trouble. It's quite easy. I'm blessed to have gone 6 years without Article 15, without getting court-martialed. I got one LOR. I got, if you guys want to know about the LORs and LOCs, ask about that. But I got the LOR and the LOC at Cannon, my last base. Mainly because you kind of just start dialing down. All right, fuck it. I don't care no more. I didn't get a 341 pulled in basic training. I was perfect. I'm a perfectionist in a lot of ways. I'm paranoid in a lot of ways. And so a lot of that kept me from getting in trouble. I would just, pass. I graduated with no vices outside of the ones I came with. Don't smoke, don't vape. I'm not alcoholic. I just love sugar still. The sugar never left me. Like the fructose love, like the honey buns, you understand, and the Twinkies and the blessed, Krispy Kreme and the gas station donuts that bless your boy. Those things, Full disclosure, I'm leaving the Air Force 60 pounds heavier than when I joined. Let me say that slower. I leave the Air Force 60 pounds heavier than when I joined. I joined at the cutoff for my weight when I joined was 202. 202 pounds at 6'2". I now sit around 260. 260. That's probably the number one regret of my career. Outside of the mental health things and the way I could have been proactive with that, is losing my fitness. If I can get that back. Imagine trying to lose 60 pounds. and get back to your original healthy weight. It's difficult. It's difficult. Emotional eating, get help for it. Emotional eating is a temporary Band-Aid that fixes you in the moment, and then you just immediately regret it after that. And then now, I wish I could just... I thought I was overweight at 200 pounds. I was trying to get down to 190. Your boy is 260. Bro, I'm a fullback, bro. I'm a tight end. Jesus, bro. Defensive end type energy, bro. Shout out to all the women that weigh more than me. That's crazy. That's crazy. Anyway, we're going to get to the Q&A, but my career, I never thought I would do 6 years and get out. I planned on doing 20. I planned on trying to get the full retirement. I see some questions about the Guard and Reserve, so we'll definitely get to those. But yeah, I'm fully civilian. We can definitely get into reasonings. But yeah, live Q&A portion of the video. If you have any questions about anything, it could be about relationships, politics, philosophy. I no longer have a mouth guard. I no longer have a muzzle on me anymore. As far as the Air Force is concerned, where I can't talk about that, can't talk about this, won't talk about that. If you have any questions, there's still a couple things that personally I might not want to address. But as far as the Air Force, fences, floors, and ceilings, I now have a lot more freedom, a lot more liberty, rather, to be able to kind of speak my mind a little bit more, directly. So if you have any questions whatsoever, it could be Air Force related, military related, branch related, recruiting related, hit me up. Hit me up in the chat. If you want to support the channel in any way, super chats. If this channel has assisted you in any way, I would definitely accept super chats. Let's get into this live Q&A, man. Who we got in this chat, man? Peace 123, I kind of addressed that. Did I go reserve? Nope. I had planned on going reserves. And then I realized, nah, pass, bruh. Pass. There's a part of me, I mentioned this in a previous video, how a level of fear comes over you when you get ready to leave where you've been so comfortable for the last 6 years. I've always had this channel as like a hobby. So I never relied on it for income. I never relied on it for I got to pay my bills. So having, the military pay your bills, and I can just buy equipment with it, and I can just buy another camera and one into the angle and buy a new laptop, and I'm using a brand new M1 MacBook Pro, or MacBook Air rather. Thing's amazing. It's amazing. Just having the ability to kind of splurge on stuff because you have stable income for a contract, like you're on a contract, so you're kind of safe from the economy. You're safe no matter where you live. BH is going to help you. It's going to bless you. Cost of living is going to bless you. When I was in Alaska, I was getting cost of living. It was like $800 just to compensate for, where you live, the state you live in, what have you. I thought about how afraid I was of leaving all of that to go back to the civilian world, not realizing there's upside of the civilian world. Just like that, there's a lower floor as far as you can be homeless. You probably won't be homeless. You won't be homeless in the military. But once you leave the military, you can be homeless. You see a lot of homeless veterans, asking and begging for money on the sidewalk. I hope that doesn't come to me. It might. So there was a level of fear of I don't want to leave the military all the way, because I still want that retirement. I want that guaranteed income. And I kind of do want that, but it's unfortunate. Things change, your plans change, and you move on and you adjust and you adapt. And I talk about that at length on this channel. It's like, you try to join the Air Force and they say, nope, we're good, pass. What do? You figure it out, pick something else. And so I'm now in that place. I'll be going to college, moving to Florida. And you pick up the pieces, you take your mental health, what little you got left. You say, I'm going to make my life something, make the best of it. So the Air Force is a chapter. It's not a life sentence. I always talk about it's not a life sentence. It's not, you have to do it the rest of your life. You have to stay in. You got to serve through the misery, depression, anxiety. If you don't like the Air Force, get out. If you don't like the military, get out. If you don't want to join, don't join. If you can't join, go pick something else. You have options, especially in America. We talk about oppression and woe is me, and the misogyny and the patriarchy is keeping me down. I'm like, it's really not. It's really not. It's really not. So yeah, no reserves, no guard. Your boy civilian. Your boy is all the way civilian. Might do the Peace Corps or something. Might go overseas and do something wild or something. I don't know, but appreciate the question. Dorian says, nice, got out around June. It was a fun 4 years, but it's great to get out. Hey, facts, bruh. Well, you get in, get out, bruh. Make the best of it. It's not a life sentence. You don't got to stay there and keep doing the same thing over and over again because the majority of people think it's the right thing. No, you can pick something else. But the majority, and I always say this, the majority of people in America are not in the Air Force. The majority, over 95% of people are not in the Air Force. I would argue over 90% of Americans are not in the military, and they're still successful. They find a way to feed their families. They find a way to survive. I did it before I joined the military. I'll find a way after. So you got to constantly keep perspective on, especially numbers. Numbers tend to bring a calming effect. Dorian says, went from Lackland to Maxwell to Canada to Wright Pat. Hey, you got the overseas, bruh. You got your little overseas base, bruh. Must be nice. I got my little deployment, so I'm not completely down bad, but you understand. Mouse Lord asks, was it hard to make staff sergeant? No. I always talk about, especially on this channel, for those of you watching on my Raymond Isaiah channel, I talk about how I studied. I made videos on, do you have to be smart? You got to be overly intelligent? Do you have to be the smartest to join the Air Force? It's not true. I study. When I was getting up at 2:30 a.m., 2:30 a.m., starting around October of 2017, I got my CDCs. First got to my base. CDCs basically is just upgrade training. Is after you graduate tech school, they hand you some paper and say, go study this paper and we're going to test you on it in a month. I got my CDCs. I started getting up at 2:30, not only because it was the most efficient time to study, but it's because I know after I get off work, I'm not doing anything. I'm not doing anything. When I get off work, I'm going to bed, bro. I'm watching Hulu and Netflix. I'm not doing anything, bro. So I realized this and I'm like, bro, if I don't study before work, I'm not going to study at all. So once you realize it, you're self-aware to realize, a lot of your tendencies, you just tend to put your goal in place of the previous goal. And like, all right, so the last goal was passing my CDCs. Now this goal is studying for staff. If I'm going to study at all, it's going to have to be before work. It's going to have to be when I'm on the toilet. Instead of TikTok or Instagram or YouTube on the toilet, that's my study time. And for me, that's 45 minutes guaranteed a day. You increase your fiber a little bit, you might get to an hour or something. But I knew based on my tendencies, I'm gonna be on the toilet at least 45 minutes a day. That's a perfect time to study. And for most people that you're competing with, they're not gonna study 10 minutes a day. They're not gonna study at all. So I knew I'm gonna whoop their ass, bro, if I can just be consistent with something small. And so a lot of cases, studying for staff was just like studying for any block test in tech school. It's not difficult. You just have to realize the majority of people that you're competing with, they're not gonna do something simple to be successful. And so just like me coming on here and posting a video every single day. I have 2 active channels. Truly, I have 3, but 2 I'm really pouring into. I'm pouring into 2, my podcast channel and this channel, which is just the clips, really. I'm going to post videos every single day. I may never reach 100,000 subscribers. I may not reach a point where my channel is able to truly and fully fund my life. I don't have enough support. I don't have enough money coming in. AdSense may not be paying or Patreon may not be popping off. Cool. But if anything, my effort will stay at a certain level where at the bare minimum, he still posts 1 video a day. He goes live at a minimum 3 to 5 times a week. The basics. And eventually you'll realize that your hard work, it gets you something. It may not get me, high levels of fame where I'm just a household name and popping off on TikTok, popping off on everything. But, bruh, I post consistent content on TikTok, consistent content on YouTube, consistent content. That's all I can do. And so studying for staff is quite simply the same thing. Do something very simple. You still may not make it, but you'll realize it's not difficult to beat people. If there's a competition, it's not difficult to beat people. Good question. What else we got, man? Shout out lead attorney in chat, man. One of my mentors on here, constantly telling me what I'm doing wrong. And you guys see, I ain't put my hand on my face in a minute. Your boy is doing his best to be different. You understand? Trying to be different out here in the streets. Truly trying to hack my own genetics and my own tendencies. I'm like, bro, stop doing that and be different, bro. So, growth is painful, but it's necessary. What else we got? Heart of Love. I am 39 and I'm just joining the Air Force Reserves. Any advice for BMT? You're 39. The elephant in the room, your fitness. And I'm not talking about running push-ups and sit-ups, pull-ups. I'm talking about your flexibility. If anything is going to cause you an injury, it's going to be the lack of flexibility. It's going to be the lack of homeostasis, a lack of peace and wellness and right standing in your body. If something's out of place, you're gonna notice it when they have you standing for 3 hours straight. You may not be at attention, but you might be at Parade Hess, just standing there, not going anywhere, waiting, climbing stairs. If your dorm is on the 3rd floor and you're walking 3 stories multiple times a day, at some point your joints are going to talk to you. At 39 years old, I'm 29 and I feel it. I'm 29 and I feel it. I gave my 20s to the Air Force. You're 39. You're going to notice, they can just, I can't do this thing where you touch. I don't got no flexibility, bruh. I sprained my ankle in tech school. Flexibility. Doing the basic things like everyone else, it might be a challenge just because you're older. You might have sat more than the average 18, 19, 20-year-old. So you're going to realize that a lot of the injuries that come from basic training and beyond, that have nothing to do with your ability to do push-ups or sit-ups or your diet. It's going to have mostly to do with, are you flexible? I would suggest a yoga class, Pilates, doing some basic things to build a foundation of flexibility. Whereas if you do fall, you don't shatter. If you do, walk on the side of your ankle just for a second, that it doesn't immediately sprain and torn ligaments everywhere. You want to be flexible. That is probably the biggest thing that I wish. The amount of standing you do, the amount of waiting, the amount of marching you do, it just adds a level of wear and tear. It's like commuting 2 or 3 hours to work instead of 8 minutes. It's different wear and tear. The military is immediately taking your 8-minute commute of your body to a 2 or 3 hour commute on your body. It's different levels of wear and tear. It immediately comes for you. You have to be prepared for that. So that's definitely something I would pay attention to, is maybe just add once or twice a week a yoga class. You'll be surprised how percentage-wise that lowers your chance of getting injured. You don't want to go to med hold. You do not want to go to medical hold and basic training. I have a video on this channel of a woman that was in med hold for some months, I believe, or at the bare minimum weeks. And she tells her story about how she got through it and how it was depressing and how she barely made it through. You do not want to go to med hold and basic training. I don't care if it's the Air Force. You don't want to go to med hold. So check out that video. But yeah, flexibility is going to be a thing. Protein, high protein, flexibility. Those 2 things, slept on. Sleep. I can add a ton to the list, but you kind of get the point. We got Mouse Lord using the Lord's name in vain, unacceptable. I believe the age cutoff for the Air Force, I think it's 39. I'm pretty sure it's 39, but yeah. Who else got in this chat? Nathan Dawson down here showing love. I see you, Red. Diary of Dion says, I'm stationed in North Dakota and I'm a little nervous about experiencing my first wound. Hey, take this L, bruh. Go ahead and take this L, bruh. North Dakota is dusty, bruh. One of the dustiest bases I've ever heard of. What is it, Minot up there? Ain't nobody trying to go no Minot, bruh. Hear me when I say there were worse bases. Way worse bases. But yeah, you'll be all right. Well, a couple of things that I prepared for in Alaska. A tow rope. I got an electronic car lift jack. Electronic one. I'm not going to be sitting out there doing no manual labor in the snow. Negative 20-degree weather. My junk is electric, bro. I plug the junk in, press a button, get back in the car. Once the junk lifted, I got electronic, what's it called? Like the screws on the tire, nuts, electronic nut remover. Like all my stuff was electric. All my stuff was hydraulic. All my stuff was automatic, bro. I'm not with the foolishness. Now, the number one thing I probably should have got, that I would have avoided a lot of foolishness, let's just trade the car in and get a truck. I probably should have bought a cheap $1,500 truck. That would have saved me a lot of foolishness as it relates to dealing with the winters. I went up there with a sedan, a Chrysler 200. Probably shouldn't be driving no sedan in Alaska, bro. I took an L. So yeah, you definitely want to plan for the region you live in. If you're going to be there for some years, maybe get an SUV, something with all-wheel drive. Study the difference between all-wheel drive and four-wheel drive. Four-wheel drive is a lot different. Typically applies the same level of torque or horsepower to all 4 tires, whereas all-wheel drive tends to go to the tire in need. So if one tire is slipping, it tends to show more love to that one in terms of power and torque, what have you. So definitely kind of do some research on vehicles. Commuting, maybe don't want to commute 20 miles just because your rent's cheap. Maybe the money's worth it. As far as like when I lived in DC, I lived 45-minute train ride from work, whether it's the Pentagon or Andrews. 45-minute drive, same thing. In the afternoons, it was an hour and a half coming from work. Some people don't want to deal with that. I loved having cheap rent. I could buy plane tickets every time I got paid. So I made a decision. I'm willing to compromise and live further away to have more BH to myself. God bless the BH in DC. That BH was, for those you don't know, basic allowance for housing. They pay your rent. I was getting $1,800 a month just in BH, just to pay rent, and my rent was $900. What, man? They was blessing your boy, man. So yeah, good luck in your first winter. I won't be participating, unfortunately. I would love to participate in winter, but your boy's moving to Florida. You understand? Your boy's moving to southern Florida, not even northern Florida. Like, no, send me to a couple hours above Miami, bro. Not in Miami. I can't afford to live in Miami. I can't even really afford to live in Florida, period. But I don't do winters anymore. Your boy's reached a point in his life where spending any amount of time dealing with snow or cold weather is it's unacceptable on so many levels. So many levels where I just refuse to participate anymore. I'm not participating in anyone's winter anymore. And that's kind of the place we're in. So God bless everyone else who's dealing with winters and what have you, but your boy won't be able to make it this time. So, John, what? Dice Air Force Base is the best base. That's Cat. That's Big Cat. I think I've been to, no, have I been to Dice? What was that in Abilene? I've driven through the area. Nah, we good, man. The Dice dusty as hell, bro. West Texas, bro. It's better than Cannon, but no, pass. Mouse Lord asked, what's the Space Force like compared to the Air Force? I don't know anything about it. It's the same. The only difference, the only nuance that I would imagine is slightly different with the Air Force is their mission. Their mission is different. Their mission is basically anything that flies, they want to know about it. Anything that's not on the ground. The Air Force manages. My role in supporting the Space Force was I will support. Think about the Navy and the Marines. The Marines doesn't have a separate, and this is speculation, wild speculation on my part. So I probably shouldn't even talk about it, but each branch doesn't have their own specific thing. Now, that's not true either. How do I put this? The Air Force is the support system, the foundation for the Space Force. The Space Force is a different direction in terms of their specific purpose. But just like the Air Force was born out of the Army has planes, the Navy has planes, the Marines has planes. But the Air Force is specific to, we will be the best thing flying. The Space Force monitors anything that's space related in terms of the airspace and above, also including cyberspace. The assignment I had in Alaska was dealing with a huge radar that points at Russia. Just points at Russia. Anything that flies too fast that's in the airspace, we're going to know about it. And then we immediately talked to Cheyenne Mountain in Colorado. I actually went to Cheyenne Mountain. Road trip. I went to Cheyenne Mountain, not inside of it, but I went to like the front door and just took some pictures. It was pretty cool. Again, having a cat card is amazing. You just go wherever and like, swipe me on, bro. You just walk on base. And just seeing Cheyenne Mountain, if you Google it or YouTube it, you see all these documentaries about what goes on inside there as far as if something pops off in the world where somebody fired a nuclear weapon, Cheyenne Mountain is usually communicating with the White House. The Pentagon, Cheyenne Mountain is this concrete, bunker inside of a mountain where like, if you try to come for us, good luck. Your boy is secured in that junk. So the Space Force is basically all these radars around the world that communicate with each other and with Cheyenne Mountain. If anything pops off, we would know about it. They just built a brand new radar, and this is public information, so I'm not disclosing anything inappropriate. But they're building Lockheed Martin, I believe, is building a brand new radar. It's the first of its kind, the only one of its kind. And I happened to be there. I took a tour of the building. It looks like a huge, so for those of you who know about cameras, what have you, every camera has a light sensor inside of it. This camera's about to die. It pisses me off. I can't get anything to be perfect. It pisses me off. But every camera has a light sensor inside of it. And so this radar looks like a huge light sensor. It gathers light. Every picture needs a proper amount of light so it can expose properly. So with that, That's what this radar looks like, just a huge light sensor, and it just points at Russia. So if they do anything that they ain't supposed to be doing, that radar picks it up. I'm like, bro, why do we have baseballs flying too fast? Why do we have cars flying too fast? That's not a plane. When you go talk to Cheyenne Mountain. And of course, there's protocols about how you would notify them, and there's levels of degrees of, is that fireworks or is that a nuclear weapon? Oh, it's fireworks. Cool. And that's why you have humans there to kind of interpret the data, because machines can only do so much. But the Space Force itself has a different mission than Air Force, but their infrastructure in terms of their services, their finance, their personnel, their DFACs, their gyms, it's all ran by the Air Force, because the Air Force is the base infrastructure for the Space Force. Space Force doesn't have its own infrastructure yet. So it may one day have its own, but currently it's still the Air Force because it was born out of the Air Force. So hope that makes any sense. What else we got, man? Anchorage wasn't bad at all. Joint Base Elmendorf, that's in Anchorage, Alaska. It's not that bad. Having a major city outside of your base kind of brings a level of quality of life to you that you're able to enjoy your everyday life, mainly because if life is so bad at work, you can at least go off base and enjoy something else. And your life is able to continue in a different fashion. As far as, I'm gonna turn this camera off for a little bit, let it recharge. But yeah, if your life is so bad that you want to do something else, at least you have the option to go off base and explore and do something different, while tomorrow you gotta go back to work and foolishness happens and I'm going off base, I'm gonna go skiing, or I'm gonna go to have lunch or go to a lodge or something. So you have the option available to you. What else we got, man? I appreciate y'all being here, man. 20 people watching. I haven't had that in so long. And I knew this video would pop off mainly because it's just Air Force related. This channel is building Air Force content. So whenever I see a spike, it's usually because the majority of the population wants to talk about Air Force stuff. I'm not talking about it no more. I don't care if I get 7 viewers, man, 5 viewers. I'm switching, man. I'm switching. So, but I'll probably still address a little bit more Air Force stuff. What else we got, man? HK says, congrats on your honorable service. What's your next big trip you're planning to vlog for the channel? Hey, appreciate you, man. I might vlog the trip to Florida. I don't know. I've kind of been off of vlogs because I've kind of switched into live streaming and a little bit more like making more videos about, topics and what have you. But yeah, I might take a trip out of the country now that I'm civilian. I have a little bit more freedom and liberty, what have you. So, I'm gonna ask a commander for permission. Am I allowed to color outside lines? I'm like, no, get back in there. I'm like, So, well, we'll see. It might be a Florida vlog. We'll see. Diary of Diane, showing love to your boy, you understand? That's a fact. Shout out Nathan in the chat. Daniel, why did you separate? I mentioned that earlier in the video. I'll touch on it briefly. Just anxiety. Along with the hatred of my job. I've always talked about how I hated finance, and like the amount of red tape of, cross training, going to something different. It just became a hassle. Even out processing and realizing I just don't like the amount of red tape that exists for the simplest of tasks in the Air Force. I don't like it. In the military at large, I don't like how it takes so long to do such basic stuff. I'm like, no, it's time for me to go do something different. It's time for me to go do a simple job where I don't have troops that I gotta go inspect their living quarters and they gotta check in with me. Oh, you got a DUI? Why'd you do that, bro? I gotta be in blues and I gotta babysit people. No, I was over that. And so there was a lot of things that added up to it. But ultimately, anxiety being probably the biggest thing, as far as if my mind's attacking me because of the environment I'm in. No. And I noticed immediately when I took Skillbridge in Florida, and I realized, bro, my anxiety has dropped crazy amounts. I'm like, I don't have anxiety. And one thing I had to be comfortable with, and this is probably one of the biggest things, and it doesn't matter in the grand scheme, but it mattered to me. The amount of money, I was only making like $4,000 a month in the Air Force as a staff sergeant. I'm like, this ain't no money. Now, you obviously make more depending on where you're stationed because your BH is based on the zip code. So if I was in DC, I'll be getting extra $2,300 a month instead of $800 where I'm getting in New Mexico. So there's some nuances there, but overall, the money wasn't worth it. I'm like, I'm suffering like this for $4,000 a month. I know YouTubers, and again, shout out Lee Attorney in the chat, when they show they receipts, bro, I'm like, all you do is make videos and you make that, and I'm struggling in the, I gotta live places I don't want to live. For how much? For 4,000? You made that in one live stream? You made that in a week. So obviously, it's not guaranteed for anyone. It's not guaranteed for anyone. This channel is not making me rich at all. At all. That's why I stopped making Air Force content. This channel is not making me rich. My other channel, it's not monetized. So I'm not speaking from a place of privilege where I say, oh no, I decided to leave the military because I'm getting rich off YouTube. It's not true. There are a lot of YouTubers that come from the military and they're just wildly successful on YouTube. And so they're able to just kind of walk from the job. And I don't have any income at this point outside of what I'm getting from this channel. So I'm not walking from one situation where I'm just, oh, I was poor and I decided to leave the military because I make way more money. It's not true. It's not true. So, but ultimately, I'm like, I refuse to suffer for a dollar amount if I can make a lesser amount and be happy. And that's what I'm really pursuing. That's why minimalism became a thing. That's why essentialism became a thing. That's why I got rid of all the fluff. I'm like, I don't need a $1,200 apartment. I need a place to sleep. And if I can find a place to sleep and be happy, I will take that over the $1,200 apartment where I'm just waking up, oh, this is so nice, but I got to go work 20 hours to pay for it. I'm not doing it. So that's a little snippet of why I decided to separate instead of go guard reserve or cross train. Is the anxiety piece. It gets to a point where you realize it's not enough. You're not paying me enough to be unhappy. You're not paying me enough to live in a dusty town like Clovis, New Mexico. You're not paying me enough to go back to Alaska or have the chance exist, the probability exist that I can go back to Alaska. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. So a lot of factors there, but those are kind of the main ones. I think I answered Diane's by, of course, the way I tend to tangent. Where in Florida am I moving? Southern Florida is so there's like 3 major towns that I'm kind of deciding between: Vero Beach, Fort Pierce, and Port St. Lucie. One of those, because it's not too far from Miami, not too far from Orlando. It's like right in the middle. So it's a perfect location to not be in a major city, but close enough that if I want to go spend the day, it won't take me 10 hours of driving like it does currently. Like, I'm like, bro, I'm not doing this, bro. So yeah, being like right in the middle of 2 major cities that I enjoy, and all the weather is beautiful and all the ocean is always accessible. Let me get some of that. Now I haven't experienced a hurricane yet, so that might be a thing coming up one day. Well, I'm not worried. I'll take a hurricane over a blizzard any day. You understand? What else we got, man? Heart of Love says, hey, Isaiah, I'm 39. I'm about to do BMT this month in Lackland. Any advice? A bit nervous first time leaving my wife and kids. Hey, man. I have a ton of content on going to basic training, preparing for that. So searching keywords like basic training and my full name, the name of this channel, you'll have a ton of results for that. But briefly and concisely, just realize why you're doing it. It's quite simple in terms of realizing that you're leaving civilian world for a reason. And the Air Force is not all bad. There are people that have been in just as long as me, and they're staying in for a reason. It's not all bad. My experience was mostly good. It's only since 2021 that my experience has tanked. That's 1 out of the 6 years. So your experience could be amazing. Realize why you're going and the reasoning of why you're being pushed that direction, and find value there, and find an anchor. My anchor was Eric Thomas, constantly reminding me. He's a motivational speaker. I'm sure you heard of him. Motivational speaker. He's very raw, Detroit, like straight, direct. Bruh, we came from slavery, bruh. How are you struggling with math? How are you struggling with applying yourself, being disciplined? We came from slavery. Are you serious? And constantly having these reminders in my head of, I'm leaving Clarksville, Tennessee, because I want the ability to take a vacation if I want one. I want a car that starts every time I press the button. I want a complete paint job on my car. I want to be able to hop in my car and go wherever I want and not have to, someone else is paying for it or sharing a hotel room. Those I have very simple reasons for joining the Air Force. Very simple reasons. I want to travel. I have very simple reasons. Now I realize at 29, you can have those same things in the civilian world. You can have those same things in the civilian world. It just takes a different path. So constantly remind yourself of why you're doing this, especially at 39 years old. There should be no doubt of why you're doing this. And never forgetting, it's a job. Never forgetting that the Air Force is a job. You could be going to basic training at Walmart, where they put you through their PowerPoints and you sitting there and here's the grocery section and here's the frozen goods and here's the electronics section. You could do the same thing. It's a job, but realize that you are switching environments. You're switching over to the military environment where it's ran differently. There are different authorities in place. You don't have the same rights as a civilian. Civilians don't have the same rights as military. So by realizing why you're doing it and how this is going to benefit you and your family, it'll ground you in your decision making. So you can have a level of peace of like when things hit the fan and when they start yelling and like they start coming for your life and like, bruh, you dusty trainee, bruh, you dusty as hell. You'll just immediately remember, oh yeah. I saw videos on this. They have to do this. They're not yelling at me. They're yelling at everyone. Because they don't want to repeat themselves. Just basic stuff. Again, I have so much content on this channel. I've answered this question thousands of times, and I'm glad to do so for the thousandth and first time. But yeah, there's plenty of content on this channel. But yeah, just remembering why you're doing that and why and what you're running away from, what you're running towards. Those will tend to ground you when things kind of hit the fan. So best of luck to you, man. Best of luck. Follow when you graduate, bro. Hit me up. What else we got, man? Yes, sir, man. First day out. My last day was yesterday. I'm one of those people that doesn't like to celebrate anything until it's done, until it's complete. I don't care what it is. Like even when I was deploying, I didn't tell this channel until the day before. Actually, I think it was the morning of. I didn't tell anyone that I was deploying because I hate getting my hopes up. I hate it. I hate getting my hopes up where I think something's gonna happen, something good's gonna happen, and then it falls through. I hate that shit. So I'm the person that will wait to the very last second, if not till completion, and then tell people, yeah, man, this happened and I'm doing this. And I kind of prefer my moves to be in silent. But yeah, things happen for a reason. You just gotta make moves, man. What else we got? So everyone, I kind of answer this one. Yeah, not really. I have a vlog going towards going to Florida. I might be doing a vlog going to Florida, but nothing really there to see. Driving across Texas, like I won't be doing nothing crazy. Outside of just trying to get to Florida, like get away from these dusty flyover states. So probably won't be nothing crazy there. David Lee asks, "Hey Raymond, I'm grateful for your videos and your wisdom, but do you regret joining the Air Force?" Not at all. Not at all. I'm not gonna make a long drawn out explanation of why I don't regret joining the Air Force. I'm not gonna use, crazy, cliche rhetoric in regards to, oh no, it made me who I am, and the Air Force is made me who I am, and it helps me get where I am. I hate those cliche explanations, but I don't regret joining the Air Force. It was a quality decision, and now, especially in light of student loan talk, and Joe Biden is going to bless us all with $10,000 off of our student loan debt. I'm like, that's not going to cover most stuff, man. That's not going to cover most stuff, man. $10,000 that don't cover your housing for one semester, man. $10,000, but I got a free education. Man. They gonna pay my rent while I'm in school. All I gotta do is find somewhere cheap enough that I can live off that stipend. $2,500 a month? Who can't live off that? Who can't live off $2,500 a month, single, by myself? That's easy. That's luxury, you understand? That's luxury for me. There might be a camera or two. I might mess around and be different out here, you understand? So, yeah, I definitely don't regret joining the Air Force. It was a quality decision, quality experience. Saved maybe a year or so out of the contract, but I'm blessed. How many contracts did I sign? I signed one contract, one 6-year contract. Sign the 4-year, people. Sign the 4-year contract. Don't mess with that 6-year, bro. It's a trap. It's a trap. Hey, bro. So this is on my bucket list. Bruh, this is on my bucket list. Smoking a little something. Apparently, I hear it helps with anxiety. The reefer and what have you. Marijuana and the like. I don't plan on going off the deep end. I don't like being addicted to substances. I don't want anything that. I'm already on Zoloft. I don't need anything else going through my bloodstream right now. But I hear it's natural. You understand? I hear it's natural. It's supposed to bless you. So definitely there'll probably be a live stream coming about my first experience. I'll probably try it on camera just to see what happens. So weed definitely be a thing once we find a legal place to do it. because I'm not taking no L's. You won't see me with no lawyers and no judges. I'm busy for that. You understand? I'm too busy to be trying to deal with 2 lawyers and a judge. I'm gonna have to call the lead attorney like, bruh, come bless your boy, bruh. I got married, bruh. She took everything, bruh. Please come help, bruh. I ain't got time for all that. Speaking of lead attorney, hey, appreciate you, lead. We trying to act different out here. Lead attorney says, it seems like you and I are both introverts, but you seem to enjoy traveling alone, and I can't stomach even the ideal at all. Do you think that most introverts can learn to enjoy solo travel? So I'm the person who travels by myself out of necessity. If there is somebody who wants to go, all I require is that they have their own money and they have the time to do it. I would prefer they don't got children's everywhere. Like the amount of diaper changes, and I gotta use the bathroom. I'm hungry. I'm sleepy. I peed myself. I gotta do that. Adds a level of foolishness to my plate that I'm too busy for. I'm way too busy for that. But I wouldn't consider myself an introvert. Excuse me. If you see me on the basketball court, you would never think. Nah, I'm an introvert. Most people that look on here, they might think I'm a bit neurotic, overly verbose. I talk a lot. I think deeply. I don't breathe. I talk quickly. I don't consider myself an introvert. I consider myself quite dynamic in terms of my environment. No matter when I do a live stream, I can't do it with other people in the house. Now, unless I'm interviewing somebody, I've never interviewed anyone in person. I need my environment to be stable. This room is like 50 degrees right now. My environment has to be set for me to do something. So I have a lot of introverted tendencies. But when it comes to traveling alone, I travel alone out of the fact that I'm not waiting for 10 people to get their life together so we can go. I love being spontaneous. So if I'm like, Brett, today I want to drive to OKC. I'm in Amarillo right now, Amarillo, Texas right now. I want to go to OKC just to work out. I want to try this gym I found on Google. Like when I travel, one of the first things I do, I wake up, get my coffee. You understand? I get the sustenance. I open Google Maps and I find me a fancy gym I've never been to, or a gym I've been to. John Reed in Dallas, amazing. Lifetime Fitnesses, you really can't miss with those. Verdure here in Amarillo, Verdure, beautiful gym. But yeah, I find me a gym and I'm like, if I ain't got nobody in the area, or if I'm new to a city, I'm like, I might post a little something, or I might have people in my DMs like, yo, if you pull up, say what's good. But other than that, I'm not waiting for people to get their life together. I'm going to hop on the road and go. I'll grab my camera. I'm going, bro. So I would love to travel. Like you see a lot of my older vlogs, I typically got a woman on my side. In most cases, I enjoy female company. I enjoy a woman that can hold a conversation. She's spontaneous. She ain't got no kids. She got her own money. Bro, let's go, bro. Let's go. It adds a level of comfort and a level of fun to the trip that you can't do by yourself. You can't do it with a camera in front of you. Sometimes you need some people to enjoy the trip with. So I definitely enjoy having company with me, but not if it slows me down. Not if it's to the point where now I gotta put this trip by 2 days or 2 hours. Nah. So do you think that most introverts can learn to enjoy solo travel? Yes, absolutely, bro. My thing is I have to have a plan or no plan. Sometimes I just pick a city and I'm going. Like right now I'm in Amarillo. After this live stream, I could go anywhere I want. I can go anywhere I want. I love the idea of saying I can go anywhere a car can get to. And then if I want to hop on a plane, I have the option as well. Traveling alone, it teaches you about what you like to do. I'm a very low maintenance person. I don't need amusement parks. I don't even get on rides like that. If the ride's going too fast, I'm not getting on that junk, bro. Like I'm busy. I'm not hopping on nobody's roller coaster that's been sitting around during COVID, missing screws. And I'm like, anybody seen the stop button? I'm like, I'm not getting on y'all's dusty machines, bro. But if you give me a beautiful coffee shop with some beautiful decor, some vibes, you understand, a hippie coffee shop, I'll spend 4 hours in there by myself. Headphones on, just editing videos, watching YouTube, chilling, relaxing, drinking coffee, dehydrating myself. I love doing that. Then I'll go to a mall and buy one thing new that I've never bought before. That's one of my hobbies, is going to a hippie store like a Whole Foods or Trader Joe's or Sprouts, and I'm going to buy an energy drink I've never had before. I'm going to buy, a protein bar that I've never tried before, a 0-calorie water brand. I'm going to try a new water bottle, and I make a trip out of it. And it's something that's fulfilling to me that I'm like today. Today's a perfect example. Again, I don't know where I'll go. I might not go anywhere. I might just stay in Verdure or like, go to the gym. After that, I might go to the movies, see 1 or 2 movies by myself. By myself, mind you. My ex lives here. Irrelevant. 1 or 2 movies. I might go to the mall. Might go get a cleaned up or something. Who knows? Might go get a pedicure, manicure. Who knows? Might go get a massage. Who knows? Might go back to the movies. Might go work out again. Might come back here, go live tonight. Might go to TJ Maxx and just buy all new pairs of shorts because I'm like, I saw on TikTok that women like the short shorts. Is that trending right now? Short shorts, high inseams. Is that the new trend? I immediately run. I'm like, I'm gonna throw all my shorts out and get all new pairs of high inseam shorts, and that might be my to do thing today. But ultimately, when I'm by myself, I do this with people too. I just come with me, and then we add whatever they want to do to the list as well. But I typically, I have a kind of a mindset of I need one cool thing to do today, and I make that the focus of my day, and I add in the rest of it. So traveling with people makes the experience so much more fun because you're able to bounce experiences off other people. You typically get to enjoy what they like to enjoy. So I might end up doing something I wouldn't typically do by myself with someone else. And so, yeah, traveling alone is definitely something you have to learn. But if you practice and if you kind of have a plan going into it, you'd be amazed the experiences you can have. You can feel an entire 24 hours. Oh my goodness. This is like yesterday, I went live twice. This is, I want to get this one out the way, mainly because I don't want to have to be thinking about this all day of like, I need to do a live today. But I have some interviews coming up and I have clips to post. I have clips that I have to edit and post. So I have content for days, but having a plan of like, get the live stream out the way, need to go work out. After that, I can go to the movies. I'm going to see what movies are playing. I know some movies always come out on weekends. So I typically don't go to movies during the week because I want to save those for the weekend. So you kind of, you build your weekend, you build your day around things you enjoy doing. I might go to United and see if they got any new energy drinks that came out. And I'll get one of those, or I might go to a coffee shop I've never seen before. I'm like, that's new. Or this is one of my quirks, but I love new gas stations. Love them. Their bathrooms are always, listen, Brad. That's a new gas station? Pull over there, pull up on them, Brad. Like, Brad, let me see what y'all got, Brad. I go and they freshly clean glass, refrigerator doors. Try a new energy drink, go to the bathroom, blow that junk up, come out of there. I edited a couple clips while I was on the toilet, leave there with my brand new energy drink I never tasted before, and go about my day. But adding those small little things that you enjoy adds a level of contentment to your life. It adds a level of excitement of, I get to try this, and it costs like $1 or $2 to try a new energy drink. Versus, I'm gonna fly across the country. Like if I would go to a different country, I'll probably do that by myself too. Because again, I enjoy spontaneity. I don't like having to keep up with people. But if I had the opportunity to travel with a girlfriend or a wife, or I'm like, bro, let go. Or my niggas, like if my niggas pull up and like, bro, let's go here. Let go. Often it's just they got husbands or they got wives or girlfriends or children. And I'm like, I need 2 weeks notice. I need 3 days notice. I'm like, it's different. People are different places in life. So lead attorney, Brad, you got to try it, Brad. You have to try it. You have to definitely take a stab and try traveling alone. It's definitely an experience to be had, especially someone your age and someone who has your financial flexibility where you can work from anywhere. You have YouTube, you can work from anywhere, literally. Definitely try it. As you guys know, I love Airbnbs. Love them. And I pick my Airbnbs specifically knowing I'm going live. I pick my Airbnbs. I'll show you the other angle. I pick my Airbnbs knowing, bro, I'm going to go live at some point. So my background needs to be sufficient enough to look beautiful, man. It has to be the shot. It took me a good hour to get it right. A good hour or so. I'm like, bro, I want my 2 angles set up, right? I want it to look beautiful. This is a dope table I saw in one of the pictures of the Airbnb. And I'm like, I pick my Airbnbs based on the Wi-Fi, based on, I want the entire place, air conditioning. I don't need a workspace, but I'll prefer it have furniture in it so I can rearrange the furniture and build my set. I enjoy those mental games that I get to play to kind of create the shot I want. I'm like, I want 2 angles, so we got to have this angle, so the close up and the bokeh, and it's beautiful, bruh. It's a hobby. And so when you have all these different hobbies you can add to your life, adding a woman to your life or adding a friend to your life, it's. I'm about to go see my boy in San Antonio. Yeah, go try. One thing I will add to this, and I'll get off of this. One thing I will add is that when I do travel alone, I'd like to travel to places where I know people. So when I go to San Antonio, I already know people there. When I go to Houston, I know people there. When I go to Austin, I know people there. Also because of YouTube and you having 100,000 plus people following you, you know people everywhere. So by going to travel to people that you know, you have friendships or relationships with, it just adds more and more to your experience, where traveling alone is just the fun part. I have podcasts downloaded already that I have to go through that I create content off of, or I just enjoy consuming content off. So great question. You don't have to be introvert, extrovert to travel alone or travel with people. It's more so having a plan and filling your day with things you enjoy. And you'll realize it's a lot more fun than you think. It's not misery. It's not misery. That 9-hour drive to Houston from New Mexico, I loved it. Loved every second. Loved every second. I just filled it with stuff. I filled it with stuff. When I see a Buc-ee's, bruh, I think there's a couple in Georgia or Florida, but most of them are in Texas. If I see a Buc-ee's, I'm stopping. I don't care if I just got gas. If I see a Buc-ee's gas station, I'm stopping. And I'm going to give me a new energy drink and some cashews and some brownies and some Rice Krispie treats, bro, and some breakfast sandwiches. And like, I'm going to fill the car with foolishness, bro. But I know myself well enough to realize I can fill my day with so much stuff that's low cost that it makes my experience, my average Tuesday is amazing. Amazing. So great question. Great question. Shout out Lita Turner. What else we got, bro? Not about like no dry heat. I prefer humidity. It's just it feels good to have moisture in the air. You breathe better too in it. We got a couple of super chats that let me go down and show love to those immediately. Carrot Juice Podcast, what, bruh? Shout out Carrot Juice Podcast. Everybody go subscribe to my guy. We're in the same mentorship program. Interesting individual. I haven't had a chance to go through his content yet, but definitely go support ahead of time because I already know you won't be disappointed. If he knows Lee Attorney, then you already know he on 10. But I definitely want to say thank you for the support. You did not have to show love like that. So definitely appreciate you. And I'll definitely be through to look at your content and definitely, hopefully we can get a collab or something going. But I'm appreciative. Thank you. And I see a lot of comments down here, so we'll definitely get to those. Square Biz showing love. Buy a Veta drink. The super chats are contagious. Hey, appreciate you, man. I think she's also in the mastermind. For those of you who don't know, I'm a part of a mastermind with Lead Attorney. I'm not going to go too much in detail because it's not for everyone. It's mostly for creators anyway, but it's for those who don't mind investing in networking and talking to people and kind of investing in finding out what you don't know. And often you have to pay for information. You have to invest and pay for information. So I definitely don't mind doing that. But shout out to Lead Attorney, shout out Square Biz and Carrot Juice Podcast. I'll definitely be going to go check out Square Biz again. Go check out Square Biz, Carrot Juice Podcast. Show some love. What else we got in these chats, bruh? What else questions? We got my mom in the chat, bruh. What? We got my mom in the chat. Just had a conversation with them this morning. Amazing woman. Amazing insights. She's an author. If you guys are interested, go to your local Amazon, shop your Audibles. You should be able to find her books there. I believe she's on Kindle as well. Nichelle Isaiah is her name. Amazing individual, amazing insights. She is mostly responsible for who I am today. Mostly. Her along with my father. They are mostly responsible for the amazing young man you see before you today. Let's see what she got to say. In your opinion, what is the number one concept being in the Air Force taught you that you were ignorant of before joining 6 years ago? What is the number one concept being in the Air Force taught you? That's a good question. That's a good question. Let me take a little sip of the nectar real quick. I would say recognizing the authority in place when you change environments. Actually, no. Well, that's one thing. This question has so many layers in terms of which one is the number one concept. It's hard to. This one right here. And I've made videos on this. The number one concept I've learned from, as far as the Air Force is concerned, is being liked is more valuable than being respected. Being liked is more valuable than being respected. It doesn't make sense when you first look at the phrase, when you first look at the concept at face value. But when you think about it, the people in your life that you enjoy having around you, the people that you would do anything for, the people that you will spend money for, the people that you will loan money to, they're typically not the people that you respect the most. They're the people that you like the most. When I was in Alaska, trying to get any state, any assignment I can get outside of Alaska, I was like, bruh, send me anywhere, bruh. Please get me out of Alaska. Please send me anywhere but Alaska. I truly believe that my leadership went out of their way to help me, not because they respected me, because I wasn't the best at my job. I was the accountant for the base, managing $8 million with no experience, zero experience. They went out of their way to help me, and I think it was mainly because they liked me, not because they respected me. The first part of my career, when I was at Andrews, the Pentagon, one of the major flaws I made in my career and as a person was establishing so many boundaries. You don't talk to me that way. You ain't gonna run up on your boy. You ain't gonna surprise me. Email me. No, email me, bro. Email me. I set so many boundaries in my life that all I did was prevent people from making relationships with me. I kept people at distance. I'm like, no, I can't let you get close because I don't trust you. I didn't trust people. And I suffered because of it. I spent so much time alone. In a lot of cases, Lee, I was forced to travel by myself. I was forced to explore DC by myself. Virginia Beach, going north to Philly, New York City. I traveled a lot by myself, not because I wanted to in those days, but because I had no choice. Because I set so many boundaries in my life that people could not get close to me. My supervisor, when I went for BTZ, I'm not going to go too far into all the terminology and acronyms and all that, but when I was up for promotion, early promotion, my supervisor didn't know much about me. And I was so proud of the fact that my supervisor didn't know much about me. And I'm like, looking back, I'm like, bro, what is wrong with you? That person is trying to help you get promoted, but they don't know anything about you. The number one thing I learned from my career, and I use this in my everyday life now, is that you could easily go throughout your life and set boundaries and say, don't cross me. I'm strong and independent. I don't need no help. Get away from me. Don't disrespect me. Don't cross me. You could set all those boundaries. Rappers do this all the time. Don't cross me. Or I could operate like Kobe was that person. Bro, we up at 5 a.m. We working. We're not going out. We're not partying. We working. We getting shots up. LeBron is the guy that trains with everybody. He's friends with everybody. He's friendly. The most liked individuals in the NBA are the NBA players that smile. Steph Curry, Giannis, LeBron, Kevin Hart. He's not the funniest comedian. He's up there, but he's not the funniest comedian. There's many more funny comedians, but why is he constantly in every single movie? Why is the bag chasing him no matter where he goes, as opposed to Bill Burr, Dave Chappelle, Paul Mooney, rest in peace, Patrice O'Neal, hilarious. Patrice O'Neal is one of my favorite comedians. He's top 5 for me, easily. I got Dave Chappelle, Bill Burr, but Kevin Hart chases the bag and the bag chases him because people like him. He's safe. He smiles. He's not intimidating. He's not sitting in the corner, not only because he's small as well, but people don't find him intimidating. People are not scared of Kevin Hart. Patrice O'Neal, 6'4", 300 pounds, walks up and he got a chip on his shoulder and he mad and he angry. The number one thing I learned, just kind of wrap all this up, bro. I could rant for hours on this. You need to learn how to build rapport with people. And I do it through listening and asking questions. A lot of people probably have picked up long ago that I'm highly neurotic. I think a lot. I talk fast. I'm a high motor in terms of information coming in, information going out. And it typically doesn't go out unless I'm on a live stream where it just spills out. It spills out. Shall we turn? I have to have a structured, this is how I'm going to go through these topics. But I typically, I'm quick at analyzing. I'm quick at discerning. I'm quick at observing and I'm quick with it. I'm very quick with it. That's why I love live Q&As, because I don't need 10 hours to prepare for random questions. I enjoy it. It's therapeutic for me. But I know when I try to apply that to my friendships, my relationships, it does not work. I put more emphasis on not trying to win debates, but listening and asking questions and follow-up questions. Because I know me, I can win any debate. I can beat people easily. But typically after I do so, I walk away by myself. If I win the debate and now they upset because I start employing all these logical fallacies that they don't know about, and I'm like, bro, let me just appeal to higher power. Let me just throw a little red herring in there real quick. They don't know about that, bro. Let me hit them with that, bro. And I win the argument, but then I walk away by myself. I've lived that for years. And I realized, especially in my current place, I would rather people like me and have an open door policy with me, and people appreciate me, and people realize he brings value and he doesn't ask for anything. There's certain times that I will ask and like it almost comes off as begging, like, please, man. But most of the time I try to give value. And that's how you build rapport, listening. Somebody has a problem, I don't immediately try to give them a solution. I just listen, ask follow-up questions. On dates, listen and ask follow-up questions. That person will be glued to you because you're acting like a therapist. That's what therapists do. That's what counselors do. Psychologists, they listen and ask questions. That's why we love them so much. That's why we love I'm gonna sit on my couch, and we feel so good after we left because that person did not try to fix you in the moment. They let you talk and they listened and they understood you. So imagine bringing that to every relationship I enter is I'm going to listen and ask questions. You'd be surprised how many people, they love talking to you. They love engaging with you. When I have podcasts, I have so many comments of people, bro, you took it easy on them. Kevin Samuels, you look at a lot of his interviews, his in-person interviews, you're like, bro, why didn't you go off on Brittany Renner? Because, and I think he kind of arrived at this late because if his brand was built off of this, he would be a lot further and hopefully still alive. But he understood that in person, relationships are valuable. And yes, I'm roasting strangers on Zoom and people coming through and I'm taking their life and just going off. Average at best, you look dusty, bro. You're going to buy a dog and die alone, and you understand? Notice how he alienated so much of his population, especially in regards to women. He had men backing him. But imagine if Andrew Tate could find a way to talk to the masses. Imagine these audiences. They blew up very quickly. Kevin Samuels blew up very quickly. Andrew Tate blew up very quickly in terms of the magnitude that they reached. But look at their legacies. They have their supporters, and that's it. Kevin Hart has the majority of people supporting him. How did they get that? Not that everyone should pursue that. Excuse me. I'm not saying that everyone should pursue appeal to everyone. But on YouTube, when it comes to networking, and I want as many business cards in my phone as possible. I want as many people that are in the same space as me that are being successful. I want those people to hear my name and immediately think, yeah, he's not off-putting. He's cool. Because a lot of us think that we can just move about the world and we don't need anyone. I'm strong and independent. I don't need help. I don't need nobody to help me. I'll figure it out by myself. You realize, what if somebody just gave me a little piece of advice that I've been looking for years, and that changed the whole trajectory of my life? The super chats that people are being generous with and kind with, and that makes me like them. It makes me like them. Some would call it manipulation. It's how the world works. It's literally how the world works. It's a seed of good faith. And a lot of people are so high and mighty and like, bro, I got 13,000 subscribers. I ain't gonna help. What? 13,000 people push the button. That's it. And you'll start realizing quickly, especially when you start employing this, I have a lot more resources available to me. I have so many more insights and experiences available to me at my disposal if people simply like me. If they don't mind being a Baker Mayfield, trying to find a job in the NFL. Talented, number 1 overall pick, Heisman Trophy winner. How is he struggling to find a job? How is that possible? People did not like him. He was perceived as arrogant. KD, nobody wants him. I guess he'll go back to Brooklyn Nets and keep playing. Giannis, he can go anywhere he wants. LeBron, he can go anywhere he wants. Steph Curry can go anywhere he wants. Rondo, Lakers, Cleveland. Patrick Beverly, I guess we'll take him. Cam Newton can't find a job. Why? If people don't like you, they will overlook your talent. They will overlook your gifts and say, I just can't work with someone like that. So that's the number one thing I've learned from my career. It took me some years to learn it, but I'm not letting it go, because respect is easily gotten through competence. You don't have to set boundaries to get respect. You can get respect through simply being good at what you do and practicing and learning. But one thing is hard to get, especially after you ruin a relationship, is getting someone to like you after you've alienated them. Imagine Trump trying to regain the love of the country. He has a lot of people that voted for him, a lot of his supporters. Andrew Tate has his supporters. Kevin Samuels has his supporters. Andrew Aflalo, or whatever her name is, the chick on TikTok that, misandrous against men, she has her followers. Tommy Lauren, she has her followers. But imagine if they tried to go to the other side and network. It's not going to work. It would not work, because people have set so many boundaries in their lives, and they push people away with their language. You can't build a bridge with that. So that's the one thing I've learned. It's something I practice every day. It's difficult because often you want to set boundaries. Often you want to be respected immediately because people treat you differently. The sex I have when someone admires me or respects me, it's night and day versus somebody who I had to take them out to lunch and 5 dates and please love me and then please touch my person and please kiss my mouth. I don't want that, bruh. But the woman that respects you and admires you, it's different. It's different. Trust me. So, it's a bit vulgar for my taste and definitely for my mom's taste. But that's the number one thing I learned. Being liked over respected, there's no comparison. No comparison. Great question. Shout out to my mom, by the way. Shout out to my mom. We got a super chat. I'm going to scroll down real quick. I'm definitely grateful. Nathan Dawson with the $20 super chat. Bro, y'all being hella generous, bro. Did y'all know I'm not worthy of that, bro? I'm hella grateful. Any drink on me, fam. Thank you for your service and content. Much love, man. Much love. I'm definitely gonna grab me. There's some new brands that have came out as of late. I'm definitely thinking maybe a Monster. I haven't had a Monster in a while. Monsters typically bless me the most. Maybe a C4. No, that's pre-workout, but I think a Bang. I might mess with a Bang, bruh. What else we got, bruh? 30 people watching. I haven't hit these numbers, 30 people watching since I was in Alaska. I think my peak is 50. I'm pretty sure my peak of people watching is 50. And I've been close to that in a minute. So this is encouraging. This is encouraging. Obviously, I'm talking about the Air Force stuff, so I expected these numbers to be higher than most. But it is what it is. It is what it is. We're grateful either way. Diary of Diane says she's from Tampa. Ain't nobody going to Tampa, bruh. Ain't nobody going Tampa, bruh. I'm going as south as, I'm going to Cuba, bruh. I'm going to Cuba, bruh. What else we got, bruh? Y'all showing love with the super chats, bruh. Greek World Podcast, do you still recommend joining the Air Force? Facts. Absolutely, man. Greek World asks, do you still recommend joining the Air Force? I do. Mainly because the benefits, you can't really beat them outside of just pure earning power. If you're making 6 figures plus, you don't need the Air Force. You don't need the military. You do not need the military if you're making 6 figures plus. The benefits you get from the military, you cannot beat them in a civilian job unless you're making 6 figures plus. I have lawyers for free food, inspector general. I have anything, health benefits, eye doctor, physical therapist, personal doctor, free dental, audio. I had an audiogram, I believe it was yesterday. Whatever you think you might need in terms of benefits, you have those. When you're deployed, you don't pay for anything. Unless you have a family back home, you don't pay for anything. The benefits of the military are amazing. Unfortunately, it's what comes with those benefits where they say, bruh, you can't go nowhere unless you ask permission. I'm like, bruh, why, bruh? They're like, bruh, take this L, bruh, it's good for you. Take this L, it's good for you. So there's those type of things. But yeah, the Air Force was an amazing experience. It offers amazing experiences as far as, being able to travel some. I mean, not everybody gets to travel. So just be aware of those things. Like, not everyone's guaranteed multiple bases in one contract. You sign a 4-year, you might be stuck at one base the entire 4 years. I signed a 6-year. I've had 3 or 4 bases in a deployment. I was blessed. So I definitely recommend joining the Air Force. What else we got, bruh? And thank you to everyone who's super chatting. I'm definitely grateful. I appreciate it. It does not go overlooked. Thank you. Thank you. What else we got, Brad? I'll stay on here as long as you're asking questions, Brad. I was supposed to be at the gym a couple hours ago. I will stay on here as long as y'all asking questions. I don't know if I could be like lead doing 4 hour, 6 hour, but as long as you're asking questions, I'll stay on here. As long as I got energy and my cameras don't die. I'll keep saying what's good. What else we got? Man Down Sports, congrats, bro. Retire from the Navy next month. Hey, that's love, bruh. Y'all Dusty Branch. You retiring. Must be nice. Must be nice. Square Biz showing love. I haven't got my DD214 yet. AFPC playing games with your boy. Apparently they don't mail it anymore. I'm like, bruh, I'm not going to nobody's government building, bruh. They're going to be protesting down there for whatever's currently trending. I'm a little busy for that. But apparently that's where they don't mail them out anymore. So, yeah, I got to go get that. But, I appreciate you. Appreciate you. Nathan Dawson says, how do you plan to support yourself in the civilian world? Will going to college be a part of your plan? It is. So I just missed the fall semester. I believe that started on the 17th of this month. But definitely in January, I'll probably be starting to do that. And of course, you utilizing the GI Bill. So I'm gonna definitely eat off that. And of course, we got YouTube, the podcast. I'm still trying to build those to a level that I can feed my family off of. It's just me. So you can kind of see how it hasn't reached that level of success yet where I can just full-time eat off of it. But you gotta work. Some people get it in a month. Shout out All In with Ari. She showed, oh my God, I'm sad and I'm homeless and this stuff and the things. And then you got me on here, thousands of videos. And I'm like, it is what it is. It is what it is. Some people have it easier than others. It's not wrong or right. It's normal. I'm tall. I got benefits of being tall. Some people are short. It sucks in a lot of ways. So it's not always across the board that you get to eat off every part of your life. In real life, I'm me. But on the internet, that gets you about 15,000 subscribers. Be content with that. I'm grateful. It is what it is. Great question. Mouse Lord showing love. Appreciate you, man. Carrot Juice. Appreciate you, man. You guys showing love down here. What else we got down here, bro? The mastermind showing out today, man. I'm gonna have to hit the notification bell for y'all stuff because I'm not gonna be outdid. There was one point where me and Lead Attorney was giving money back and forth. He would go live. I think he started actually. I would go live. He would send me money. Then he would go live. I would send him money. And like, we were just trading money while giving YouTube 40% or whatever it is. I'm like, all right, we got to stop this. And he ended the Cold War with a blessing of such magnitude that, it was too much. The Berlin Wall came down. But, yeah, I'm definitely grateful. What else we got on here, Brad? Mouse Lord asks, bro, did you ever have to get a security clearance? What was it like? Yes, I got a secret security clearance. I went in thinking, I'm gonna get me a top secret, bro. I'm gonna know all the secrets. I'm gonna know what the CIA doing. I'm gonna go to Area 51 and find out what they doing back there, bro. I'm gonna blow the lid off of it, bro. Got a little secret clearance. Let me ask you a couple questions. It's not too intrusive, if at all. Secret is it's pretty much basic. Everyone gets a secret clearance. It's typically the top secrets that they ask you to color your drawers. And like, bro, did you wipe all? What were you doing last week? Did you bed that stinker back there, bro? Like, did you kiss her on the mouth? Did you, bro? And like, that's where they really get into the they want to know your laundry patterns, and it's too much. It's too much for me. But yeah, definitely. It's definitely different. See, a secret is pretty much guaranteed unless you got some foolishness that MEPS didn't catch, because MEPS is meant to catch all those things before you go to get the secret clearance. So. As long as you don't really have a criminal history, you pretty much getting a secret clearance. So that's pretty easy. What I plan to study in college, I'm looking at psychology. I'm thinking about getting a PhD, you understand? Because your boy likes to have I'm a PhD. Shout out Kevin Sano. I talked to a psychologist when I was doing my VA claim. And he was just talking about, like, bro, if you go into psychology, do not get anything less than a PhD. Because ultimately, you're just wasting your time and money. If you don't get a PhD in psychology, you're wasting your time. So That's something I'm looking at. It might change between now and January, so we'll see. What else we got? I'm trying to get down this list. Night Racer says, I'm happy for you, bro. You have to make your own path to happiness from Lackland, Peterson, Inserlick, Andrews, Finance to, hey, man. Now guard part-time, GS full-time, freedom is great. I see you, bruh. He did it right. He did it right. Boy was in Texas, Colorado, Turkey, and Maryland. Everybody got that one little overseas base in there. Mine came through deployment. I'm like, bro, y'all robbed your boy. If they put me in Germany, bro, it would have been a wrap for the content. But they knew better. They knew better, bro. They like, we ain't gonna do that to you, bro. Lead attorney in here, bro. You should do a 12-minute video on how to travel alone as a man. These are great tips that you're sharing. Hey, lead attorney always give me homework, bro. I ain't got no choice to do it now. I mean, say less. Say less, bro. Bro, you already know what I'm on, bro. See, the thing about the hoochie shorts, bro, I've been doing this for a minute. As long as you're tall, most shorts, unless you buy them intentionally, I've been wearing shorts that don't fit for years. And it just now became, I guess TikTok blessed everybody with it. I'm like, bro, if your shorts don't fit, no, it used to be called flooding. Like with pants that don't fit, like now people wear it as style. I'm like, bro, who knew that I've been flooding for most of my life? And all of a sudden now I'm getting love, bro. It's crazy. But you know, your boy got them quads and your boy been squatting, you understand? We blessing the people. What else we got, bro? Again, shout out Square Biz for showing love. Appreciate you. Nathan Dawson trying to figure out how to do the super chat. There should be a little button to the left of the comment box. It should be a little dollar sign if you want to support your boy. Definitely appreciate you. What else we got? I think I answered that one about joining the Air Force. Yep, absolutely. If you want to join the Air Force, there are plenty of benefits that aren't available in the civilian world. If you want a free education, again, the student loans waiting on you, that they're not trying to bless you, bruh. The student loans is not meant to, like some people are able to take advantage of them and it actually benefits them to take advantage of those. But for some people, especially you change your major every 2 minutes and you just spending time partying and drinking and waking up, not remembering much. Yeah, go to the military, bruh. If you're going to have to work either way, if you're going to have to work a job to pay off the student loans, why not work the job first and get a free education? It doesn't make any sense to have decades worth of student loan debt that you got to pay off versus going to the military for 4 years, part-time, go guard a reserve, you get tuition assistance. It doesn't make sense, but yet people still want to go party. I'm like, I'm going to go party, bro. Y'all think I'm not going to party, bro? I get way more relaxed and way more fun, way more chill when I drink, bro. I'm not a huge drinker, but Florida, the culture is different in Florida, bro. They start happy hour at like 2 p.m. I'm like, bro, you know customers? Shots, bro. The gym I was working at, bro, they had shot bottles. Like they had the stuff under the sink, bro. They was pulling out the work for you. I was like, bro, pour me some nectar, bro, real quick. They was blessing people in between sets. It's different in Florida, bro. So yeah, I'm definitely I'm gonna be on some different energy. You know, college students, what have you. I might be on some minority type energy. You understand? Like might do some public interviews. Who knows? All right, I'm gonna be trying shit, man. What else we got? Caraju says, because he is self-deprecating, he is relatable. Kevin Hart is legit. That's facts. People sleep on human psychology, the ability to relate to people, the ability to understand how the mind works and how people connect with. I mean, arrogance is one thing. Like you have a lot of people that try to lead with the arrogance piece, and that's their brand. That's their brand. Tosh.0 or like Daniel Tosh, he leads with like the arrogance piece, and people they relate to that as well. But only a certain demographic. You're gonna have more people that relate to struggling through life than people that, I was born in, mansion in the West Wing, what have you, and we had caviar for breakfast, and for lunch we had steaks, and for dinner we had cigars and more steak and what have you. Like most people can't relate to that junk. When I watch these Christmas movies, I'm like, y'all got 10-foot trees and trains going around to the bottom and presents everywhere and steak dinners, and I can't relate to that junk, bruh. I might get a pancake breakfast and everybody get one gift each, or everybody get a gift card and everybody go to Walmart and pick one thing out. Like, those are my experiences. Those are my experiences. I'm used to pancake breakfasts on Christmas morning, and then we sit around and clean up a little bit. It's different. So being relatable is key in a lot of cases where, when I come on here, I try to answer the basic questions and put that out, especially as relates to the Air Force is concerned, because a lot of people just don't get, like, most people come in here trying to make the biggest productions. I'm like, the Air Force was founded in 17 and 18, and I'm like, people don't care. They want to know how many hours I'm going to be working. Can I see my family? Can I go to my daughter's graduation? Can I do the basic stuff? A lot of that gets overlooked. So Kevin Hart has, kind of caught on to a lot of basic human psychology as far as that's concerned. So definitely some genius at play there. What else we got, man? What else we got, man? We trying to bless the people, you understand? We just trying to, provide some insights. I appreciate everybody being here too. We've been over 20 live viewers for a good minute. Nothing compared to Andrew Tate with his, little 135,000 live viewers on Rumble. If you want to see any of that, I did a watch party yesterday on that entire first video of his on Rumble. So it's on my other channel, my podcast channel, if you want to check that out. Didn't really provide much commentary, just watching it, whatever. I don't know if YouTube is taking it down yet, but it is what it is. It is what it is. YouTube be playing games. What else we got, man? Alex Bedoya asks, hey, Josiah. That's not my name. My name is Isaiah, man. Bro, why do you do that, man? Why would you send for me this early in the morning, man? Any tips on networking? I'm in tech school right now. Asking questions. If you're an introvert, if you're not good at like immediately connecting with people and be able to just spark up a conversation out of nowhere, ask questions. What's your job? Where are you from? What do you do? What did you do before you joined? Why did you join the Air Force? But basic shit. Let them talk. Conversations are so easy when you bring more questions in. Whenever there's people back and forth just making assertions back and forth, well, I'm this, well, I'm this, well, I'm this, I'm this, it becomes draining. A question brightens people up. Start a conversation off with, let me ask you something. Immediately people just kind of perk up because people are intrigued by questions. Networking is easy when first of all, you have to have a goal in mind. Your goal should always be exchanging value, not extracting value, exchanging value. True networking is giving and taking, and they should be comparable. If I give you a diamond and you give me back a handshake, that ain't it, bruh. Networking should be comparable. If I do a podcast, make sure that you plug them, bruh. They came on your channel, they gave you some time. It's not going to be equally, it's not going to be perfectly, one equal one. It's going to be, let's just exchange value. We're giving each other value. Relationships, marriages, dating, exchanging value, not just taking from somebody. And obviously we see on TikTok, we see it everywhere. Everyone's just about extracting as much value as they can get. Networking in tech school is about, first of all, getting over the fear of approaching people, getting over the fear of talking to people. Everyone's dealing with the same issues at the same time. Everyone's away from home. Everyone's in a new environment. Everyone's learning a new job. Everyone's new to the Air Force at the same time. Y'all struggling with the same stuff. So a lot of us have to get over ourselves and say, it's not just me struggling out here. It's not just me dealing with depression and anxiety. Everyone feels alone. Everyone is afraid of meeting new people and breaking that barrier and breaking the ice as far as talking to new people. Everyone's horny. Everyone's trying to get some. Everyone's scared of the monkeypox. It's normal. So once you acknowledge those basic facts and you realize, even though they got resting bitch face or he looks intimidating, they're all regular people, all dealing with the same human issue. So once you realize those couple things, learn to ask questions. And once you ask a question, ask a follow-up question. And a follow-up question which requires active listening, you'll realize this conversation stuff is easy. It's easy. And then you realize, I know so many people around here, not because you told them a bunch of stuff, but you asked them a bunch of stuff. It's different. What else we got? Actual King Smith. U.S. Air Force vet here. I see you. I was a boom operator. Opened my eyes to the world as I traveled a lot in 9 years. I was active duty. Bro, I'm jealous, bruh. I tried to get boom operator. They said, well, they didn't say I was too tall, but a lot of people said I would be too tall to be a boom operator. Also, I got disqualified for all the flying AFSCs because boy got mental health stuff, bro. They was like, bro, we can't have you in the air doing nothing, bro. Keep your eyes on the ground, bro. I was like, hey, bro, y'all robbing your boy. What else we got? Ramus showing love. Appreciate you. I think we're getting towards the bottom. We're making some progress. How does it feel finally getting out? Scary and exciting. I hate the word scary. It's an elementary word, but it's an honest word as far as, kind of, it's like leaving prison after 20 years and realizing there's something called an iPhone. I'm like, the hell is that, bruh? You went into prison in the 1980s. You did your little 20. You come out and Blackberries. And what the hell are y'all doing out here, bruh? It's different. The military, leaving the military environment is kind of like being weaned off a drug, where I haven't been here in a while. And it's not much has changed because obviously we go off base and we go shopping at the same stores, but it's just realizing that a couple of the rules that used to apply to you just no longer apply to you now, and you have a little bit more. I can say these other words now, and I can go over here. There's certain places that military people aren't allowed to go to. There's some off-limit locations. Well, I can go there now. Like when I was stationed at Keesler in tech school, I couldn't go to New Orleans. I'm like, the hell, bruh? We had a 25-mile radius. Don't go outside the 25-mile radius. Now, of course, we broke the radius, but I didn't go to New Orleans. I'm like, you ain't gonna catch me lacking, bruh. You ain't gonna catch me at the border, and they gotta, stop your car. Everybody get out. I need to see anybody military. Well, yeah, you got a haircut. Come here. I'm not doing it, bruh. So there are a lot of things that I feel like I can travel outside the country more freely. I can travel outside the state more freely. Now, obviously, you still got to work. You still got to pay bills. So luckily, I'll be keeping my expenses as low as possible, that I have more freedom and more time to do what I want with it. But yeah, it's kind of refreshing. But at the same time, it's a new chapter. It's a new chapter, and I still have to establish income. Your boy got bills, so we got to figure that out as well. So hence why we're on YouTube trying to bless the people. You understand? What else we got? Actual King didn't know how to super chat. Hey, y'all better figure it out, bruh. Y'all better figure it out, bruh. I'm grateful. Alex asks, is it difficult to cross train? No. Well, yeah, it is. Because typically the military, they're kind of used to holding your hand through processes that they really don't want people cross training. So they'll they'll kind of just leave you to your own devices and figure it out. Well, once you figure it out, then you'll be able to cross train. But a lot of cases, they leave you by yourself and they say, just go do the stuff. Just go do the thing. And so in a lot of cases, you'll find yourself out on the island trying to get through the process. But just like out processing, just like in processing, it's a lot of red tape. It's just a lot of red tape that you got a virtual checklist. You got memos you got to get signed. You got to go all these different organizations to get signed off on. It's a bunch of mess. And it's why I'm glad to be out in the military, is that I don't got to deal with that shit no more. I'm tired of simple processes being made complex for no reason, for no return on investment. So it's different. Da says, military is excellent for character building. That's facts. Just like any environment. You can build character anywhere. Actual King Smith says, Air Force vet here. Also, the networking you get while being in is amazing. Take advantage of that. The world opens up. It's facts. The more people you know, and the more people that you have a good rapport with, you realize you have access to all their experiences, all their knowledge, all the people they know. It compounds. It's it's literally investing. Investing in people is like investing in the stock market, except it's better. What else we got? This is one of the most underrated comments. If you want to travel, join the Navy. I've been in 2 years, and I've been in Tokyo and Guam. That's facts. I feel like the Navy gets all the best locations, even though they be, on some dusty ships and submarines. Anybody got time for that? You understand? Your boy 6'2". I'm not about to be ducking and trying to get on these little beds. Not only beyond the size issue, I'm not willing to deal with gender disparity in terms of percentages. It just seems like there's so many more men than women. If y'all on a tiny ship for months and y'all got 3 women on the entire boat, how are we supposed to eat? No, pass. Not only because so much foolishness can come out of that as far as sexual assault charges and just the amount of foolishness that comes out of that That the military at large, they don't play with sexual assault. Not that any environment should, but the military really is cracking down. Like you get some charges on that junk, but they kick you out, dishonorable discharge. No discussion, no compromise. Get out, bro. Go figure it out. So yeah, I'm not with a lot of the foolishness. Your boy be staying low key on some. Nah, no time for the games. But yeah, the Navy, if you want to travel, the Navy seems like they got the best ports, the best locations. They all over the place. And of course, they're on the water, so you got all the best, locations as water is concerned, unless you mess around in Alaska somewhere, the Arctic. Anybody got time? Here's a question. Are you dating now? Define dating, man. Yes. The answer is yes. I go on dates. I'm very direct in my return on investment that I'm requesting. I'm very direct. I typically only go out on dates with people that initiate with me first. So basically, I have rules that I live by, and it makes my life very efficient. I don't make first moves. I enjoy attracting beautiful women. So when they come to me, it makes my job so much easier when in the pickup space, or if you look at AMS, Alpha Male Strategies, he talks about choosing signals, where if a woman chooses you, I'm going way in depth just to answer a simple question, but this is who you asked, so it is what it is. When a woman gives you choosing signals, it makes your job so much easier because you don't have to guess whether or not she's going to reject you, or she likes you, or she wants to engage with you. It's so much easier if a woman swipes right on me first and initiate. Like I love Bumble. It's so easy. All I gotta do is put the pictures up there, put a couple words on there. Toxic as hell, or whatever, Andrew Tate's nephew. Just put anything up there, and they choose immediately whether or not they like you or not. And so the date that usually follows after all that, an engagement, I immediately know how to build rapport. Immediately, I already know how to connect with somebody. I already know how to find out what she's after, and just asking simple questions. What do you want out of this world? Why are you here? Just basic questions, that immediately gets her talking. And a lot of those things can be, as far as the struggles and the friction that we see in dating, all that friction can be removed if somebody's willing to just be honest. I don't mind telling people straight up, I'm only here for friends with benefits. Give people a chance to say no. I give people I quickly give people a chance to say no. I'm here not to date you for 90 days, just to maybe touch your arm. Pass. I tell them within the first 10, 15 messages, yeah, I'm not here to pen pal. No, I'm not here to do a bunch of, writing back and forth and talking about the weather. I'm not doing all that. Let's go on some dates. Let's have some fun. Let's have some experiences. And then why I'm here. You understand? You're here. We're going to bless each other. You understand? And it gives people a chance to say no. So the simple answer is yes, I'm dating, but not for like anything long term. Obviously, I'm in transition. I might start seriously dating when I get to Florida, when I have actual roots that I can put down, as far as getting to know someone and putting down a little bit more permanence. But as far as right now, when I'm in transition, I practice extreme honesty and just being upfront. And it's quite effective. You'd be surprised. If someone's attracted to you, they'll break all manner of rules. They'll break all manner of rules. If they're not attracted to you, they'll create rules for you. Oh, no, I have a 90-day rules, no holding hands. I'm like, pass, bruh. I'm busy, you understand? What else we got? Good question. What else we got, man? Bruh, so you said 20 countries in 9 years? What the hell? Bruh, his passport on 10? Bo says, I didn't join the Air Force. I made huge life changes because of your channel. I'm grateful for you, man. Hey, I appreciate you, man. The Air Force is not for everybody. The military at large is not for everyone. And if you look at the numbers of people that actually join, you realize most people are successful outside the military. It's not a life sentence. You don't have to join. You don't have to be a part of it whatsoever. So it's a great example of how you don't have to join. You can still be happy in your life and you be successful. So shout out to you, man. Shout out to you. Slush asks, what was the most exciting thing you did during your military career? Going to Dubai during my deployment. That was probably the highlight. Mainly because Dubai has always been on my list of top countries I wanted to visit. And the fact that I had no real plan of how I would make that happen. I'm like, I know at some point I'll be able to make it to Dubai, but I had no real path on how I would actually do it. And to be deployed like an hour away and legally be allowed to go twice, I'm like, this is amazing. The highlight, and you see my vlogs, my intro videos. I have multiple vlogs on Dubai, Abu Dhabi at large as well. But yeah, that experience alone was the highlight of my deployment, but also my career, as far as being able to go to my number one country I wanted to visit and go there on the military's dime. Excuse me. Military paid for it. I didn't pay a dime for it. So having that experience that I didn't have to pay anything for, amazing. So I'll definitely go back. I might even live in Dubai one day. Who knows? And I'm civilian now, so your boy can live in anywhere he want now, man. I might have to run up a check in Dubai, man. You stop playing. Let's see what else we got. It's a top secret. They investigate, but it's not too much in my opinion. That's facts. That's interesting. Miles says, appreciate you, bro, for the insight. Which sector of jobs have the least chance of long vacation time? First of all, thank you. Appreciate you, man. Aircraft maintenance, security forces, any job that has mission essential attached to it, you're going to be having to forecast your leave, meaning plan ahead. You're going to have to like plan ahead for your leave. Vacation time for personnel, admin, finance, people that just sit at desks, and there's a lot of us. And if I leave, somebody else just takes over my job or just sits there until I get back. I could take leave tomorrow and it just done. Whereas if you're on the flight line and you work the aircraft got to be back in the air, or you're guarding the gate, and got a certain amount of people, yeah, you won't be able to just pick up and leave. So if a job is mission essential, you're going to be at work most of the time, even during COVID. The medical field, yeah, they were at work. Security forces, they were at work. Aircraft maintainers, pilots, they were at work. Finance, working from home, working 2 days a week, chilling. Go for a walk. I'll be back. Check my email. I'll respond to that 2 days from now, man. 2 days from now. Right at the cutoff, 48-hour respond period. I'll schedule my response for 48 hours from now. That's real. So hope that answers your question. Alex, any books you recommend? I have links to my favorite books in the description, I believe. Any book by Robert Greene? Amazing. Any book by Robert Greene will bless you. You understand? Any book by Robert Greene. Art of Seduction is my favorite book. The Art of Seduction has nothing to do with sex. Nothing to do with sex. Something to do with sex. But that's not the point of the book. The point of the book is to understand how the mind works. Once you understand how the mind works, you realize you have access to so much more. And like even just building rapport with people, those basic principles, they get you so much further, even in your professional life. Again, it applies to sex, but seduction is not purely with the end goal being coitus, sexual congress. If I want someone to say yes to an answer or a question I'm asking, how do I get them to say yes? What if I know they're prepared to say no, so I ask them a question that requires their answer be no? If I know a woman's prepared, in most cases, if I know a woman's prepared to reject me, just because she's used to rejecting a lot of people, so I know she's ready to say, no, thank you, no, leave me alone. What if I asked her a question that I want the answer to be no, such as, would you mind having dinner with me? She now has to think. It's simply understanding how the mind works and knowing most people are walking around, especially like, for example, the mall. You walk through the mall and people are all in the middle aisle trying to sell you something. Hey, sir, can I see your nails? Can I see your shoes? They're all trying to sell you something. I walk around with my headphones on. I'm busy. Leave me alone, bruh. Leave me alone, bruh. You walk through and you're trying to get where you're trying to go. You notice how a lot of them would immediately ask you a question just to get your attention. Hey, sir, have you heard about this product? And it's an innocent question because they're not asking you to buy anything. They're asking you to engage in conversation. If you answer that first question, you're done. You're done. So I usually don't answer the question. I just headphones on. Because if you engage, you're done. They got you. Because you don't want to be rude once they got you engaged in the conversation. So Art Seduction really highlights a lot of human nuances, human tendencies, as far as most people are already prepared to say no. So learn to ask questions that require the answer to be no. And you'll trip a lot of people up, and you'll trigger their critical thinking to where you'll get a lot more answers of your liking by simply asking a different kind of question. Asking everyone you see, can I get your number? You're going to get a lot of no's, a lot of yeses. It's going to be diverse. But would it be crazy if I got your number? Would it be so inconvenient if we had dinner? Would it be crazy if me and you start dating? It's a different kind of question. It's a different kind of question. And most people don't want to be rude. So I'm like, no, it wouldn't be crazy if we went on a date. It wouldn't be crazy. But you trigger a different part of someone's mind where they actually have to critically think to answer your question versus, can I get your number? That's not creative. Can I get your snap? That's not creative. I'm like, how do you pronounce your name? It's just a different question, especially if they got a name tag on. That's a beautiful. How do you pronounce your name, bro? It's different. It's different, and it triggers a different part of the mind. So, art seduction is why I love discovering how the mind works. Hence my, foreshadowing, or I might go into psychology or what have you, as far as just understanding more and more about how the mind works and learning how to apply that to my everyday social interactions, where I don't have to. What if it was easy to interact with people? How would that look? What if seduction was easy? How would that look? What are the people that are good at seduction? What do they do? Oh, they're all fit? What? The people that are best at seduction, they're funny and fit and handsome and beautiful. That's easy. Their hygiene's on 10. You basically want to take away every excuse to let somebody say no. You remove all the excuses, bro. You stink. That's an easy fix. Go wash your behind, bro. Easy stuff like that. And a lot of that may not be directly spelled out in art of seduction, but that's just how my mind works. I tend to read between the lines and kind of extrapolate from certain principles. I'm like, oh, that makes sense. And then of course that applies to this, and this, and you're able to expand from there. So any books by Robert Greene, genius. Scary mind he has. I would love to interview him, but he's a little too big. Pause. What else we got? Cuffs. Does the Air Force Reserves have the same benefits as active duty? Only when you're on active orders. They have a lot of the same benefits, but typically you won't get the same benefits as active duty unless you're on active orders. Hope it makes sense. Definitely talk to a reserve recruiter if you have any questions further about that, because I'm not that. Easter Sunday. The best way to socialize and network is to listen. Your questions will shift as the conversation runs its course. Big facts. Listening is half of the conversation. It should be half of the conversation. Here's a something you should practice, and it's something that I practice in my own time. And it's a challenge. It's difficult. It goes against everything you want to do and say. Is when you enter a conversation today, and I'm not sure where it's already 1 p.m. here. How long have I been on here, bruh? Anyway, practice this the rest of your day. Pick one conversation. Just pick one conversation and say, I'm only going to ask follow-up questions. Questions and follow-up questions. I will make no statements, no assertions. I will give no advice. I'm only going to ask questions and follow-up questions. You realize, first of all, it's quite difficult because you're going to want to plug in. Well, for me, I don't like to swim because I don't think it's a sport. I think it's an ability. Because if you can't swim, you die. Whereas basketball, if you can't play basketball, you just don't get to play. That's why I think swimming is avoid making assertions, avoid giving opinions, avoid plugging in your advice, your world philosophies, all those things. And just ask questions and follow questions. You realize they're going to enjoy the conversation so much more than you will. But also, they're going to enjoy the conversation in terms of participating and starting a new conversation, because they're going to think, oh, he's so good at active listening. He has such good questions. I'm like, these are normal, basic ass questions, man. That's the whole point. What else we got, man? Y'all always plugging these last minute questions, man. I'll stay here as long as y'all in here, man. What else we got? Appreciate you. That's love. I think I skipped some. Did I skip a couple? What? Bro, you stealing ideas, bruh? Exchange your value. That's my blog idea for tomorrow. Hey, say less, bruh. Cite your sources, bruh. Cite your sources, bro. If I come on there, if I come watch your video, bro, and I don't hear you citing your sources, bro, I'm gonna make sure they ratio you down in the comments. You understand? Cite them sources, man. What else we get? Easter's honey. If a man is not the master of his emotions, he will be mastered through his emotions. Bro, you dropping bars on my shit, man. This man trying to bless the people through the comments. You understand? That's facts. That's facts. Good question. Why'd you have such a hard time trusting people? Fear. Simple, direct answer is fear. Pretty much any explanation I give will be rationalization. The most honest answer I can give is we fear trusting people because we're afraid. A lot of our past experiences will like kind of, you always have in the back of your mind, what if they betray me? Well, there's a high probability of that because betrayal can only happen from a friend. Your enemies don't betray you. They were never your friend. Your friends only have the potential to either stay your friends or betray you. So most of us look at our friends knowing y'all only got two options. And it's very difficult to be consistent. It's highly difficult to be consistent. So if somebody's your friend for years, I'm like, at some point they're gonna become an enemy, bro. They're gonna become an op. I'm gonna have to run down on one. So like, at some point they have to transition. So in a lot of cases, we see our friends as ticking time bombs. So when I look at people that aren't my friends, they're just coworkers, and I'm like, they have no reason to love me. They don't love me. They say they do. We're an Air Force family, and we're all here together, and we're all here just trying to, get through our time together. I'm like, it's cap, bro. It's cap. It's cap, bro. People are just moving around the world and just assuming that people have your best interests. And again, I tend to be a little bit more pessimist, but I'm also more right than I'm wrong, man. I tend to be right in a lot of cases. Now, when I made the insight as far as the, being liked versus respected, that's going on offense and creating friends versus waiting on people to betray you. I'd rather be on offense and create friends and create friends and create friends because I know at some point they're all going to age out and become enemies at some point or just indifferent. And a lot of us we think about ourselves so much and like, well, everyone's out to get me. It's not all about you. Most people don't care about you. Most people do not care about you. Most people do not care about you. I built this channel on giving free advice. How many of the 13,000 people or the millions of people that have watched the video, I have millions of views on this channel. How many of those millions of views have came back to say thank you? 10%? Because most people, they go to the internet to get the advice they're looking for, to get the information they're looking for, and then they leave. That's normal. It's not wrong. It's normal. So when I go out into the public sphere and I realize these are humans who do normal human stuff, they're probably not going out of the way to just give me money. They're not going out of the way to just say thank you and be kind and generous, or they're not thinking about me. They're thinking about, why is this car in front of me driving so slow? Please go faster. Get out the way. But please go faster, man. Most people are not thinking about you. So I had trust issues. I've had past experiences where, I had big expectations and the expectations fell through. That's the first step to failure, is trying. The first step to betrayal is trust. So if I avoid the trust, I can't get betrayed. As long as you're operating in fear, you're going to miss out on human experiences. And that's the number one thing I keep saying number one thing. There's a lot of number ones. One of the major things I've learned is, you can try to avoid betrayal by avoiding trust, but by avoiding the entire algorithm, you're going to live your life by yourself. This applies to relationships, friendships, networking, businesses. You're trying to avoid, getting robbed so you don't buy anything of value. You can still take your life. You got to play the game. You have to play the game. There's no way to avoid the game. You have to play the game until you die. Especially if you want anything of value to happen to you in your life. If you want any valuable experiences, you have to play the game. And so a lot of us avoid the trust. I'm like, I would never let a man provide for me. I'll never let a man pay my bills, protect me. I'll never get married, never take his last name. Men afraid of divorce. I'll never get married to a woman. I'll never let her share my bank account. I'd never put a ring on our finger, sign no contract. Fear. It's fear. And some of the fear can be rationalized. I always ask the question, I haven't got an answer yet. What does a man gain in marriage that he doesn't have access to while dating? I have yet to get an answer for that. I haven't got an answer. I asked all my special guests, all my guests that come on my podcast. I asked them, what does a man gain in marriage that he doesn't have access to while dating? I haven't got an answer yet, because pretty much anything you want in marriage can be found in dating. The only difference is the contract. So, fear is a horrible way to live. We avoid taking risks in life to hopefully safely make it to death. That's a horrible experience. That's a horrible way to live. And so, I start off my career. I start off a lot of my experience, a lot of my endeavors, afraid of rejection, afraid of being disrespected, afraid of being crossed, afraid of being, betrayed. And I missed out on experience after experience after experience after experience. Afraid of losing money, afraid of investing, afraid of gambling, afraid of taking a chance, afraid of going on a road trip because what if I get a flat tire? Well, what if something happens to my car? What if there's a storm? What if something happens? I'm like, go do the thing. If fear is a reason why you can't do something outside of danger, you now must do the thing. Go do it. Go do it. A lot of people won't. I'm afraid of heights. I'm not getting up there. I don't care. I've been on top of the Empire State Building. I've been on top of the tallest building in the world, the Burj Khalifa. I think it may have been passed, but last I checked, it was the tallest building in the world. I went to the top. I'm afraid of heights. But some things you just gotta, fuck it. Get over it. Get over yourself. Go do it. So to answer your question, that was a major reason why, I had a hard time trusting people. I was afraid. In a lot of ways, I still am. Getting out of the military, I was afraid. Trust me, the idea of leaving your security blanket and going back to the Wild West to play with all the other people, it's a scary thought. It's a scary thought to leave my first and 15th check and say, I'm used to getting paid on the 15th and the 1st of every month. Nonstop, guaranteed, that check shows up. Well, that's gone. What do I replace it with? Figure it out. That's life. The ground floor, the worst case scenario for me, outside of death, homelessness. People are still thriving. You go to LA, people, they still smiling. They stink a little bit. People still having sex, like, gross. People still pooping outside. It's a whole thing. I'm not aiming for that. But if that's my worst case scenario, and my best case scenario is billionaire, you don't see people becoming billionaires in the military for a reason. There's a ceiling. There's a cap on your income. Until you promote, you don't make more money. You can work more hours. You can work harder. You can struggle. You can try harder. But you don't make more money just because you work harder. You're kind of capped. And so leaving that environment, you realize I have a higher ceiling now in the civilian world. I also have a lower floor. And you have to accept that. So trust is hard. Trust is giving someone the power. Being vulnerable is trusting someone with the ability to hurt you, but hoping they won't. Believing they won't, praying they won't. It's different. Great question. Miles asked, are electronic and cyber jobs OD strenuous? I don't think they are. Again, I'm not those jobs. I have friends that were. If anything, the schedule is different because you might be on night shift or something, and that might throw off your circadian rhythm or something. But outside of that, wasn't crazy. What else we got? Mouse asked, what part of studying psychology is most interesting to you? Great for your content. I appreciate you, man. Just understanding the mind, understanding more and more about the mind outside of our decisions, but more so the stimuli, the catalyst. What lends us to certain decisions outside of the benefits or the fear driving us towards a certain decision? What makes someone choose something? Out of all the restaurants, why would I not go to Arby's? Why do I have such a big angst against? Why do I hate Arby's? Why? It's right there between McDonald's and Taco Bell. It's always there. Why don't I ever think to go to Arby's? That's what I love about psychology, is that there's an answer somewhere in there. It could be as simple as, bro, they nasty, bro. Talking about they got the meats. From where, bro? what kind of animal is that, bruh? That could be the answer. It could be that simple. Or it could be the fact that I mean, like they don't ever have a line, bruh. Why doesn't Arby ever have a long line? What is wrong with Arby's that nobody's waiting in line for Arby's? Are they just that efficient with serving their customers? Or is that they only got 1 or 2 a day? I don't know. But psychology for me is going to be kind of deep diving and understanding those nuances in our psyches. And why do we do certain things? Why do we do certain things? What made me want to become a YouTuber instead of a musician? I play piano. I can't sing. I can harmonize, but I don't have the voice to just go off on people. I don't have that. But there's something in me that I want to be a YouTuber. No, I've kind of dove into that. I'm not going to get into that in this video. Yeah, there's some reasoning there. But psychology is so interesting to kind of discover why we do certain things. And of course, it benefits me to know why other people do certain things, because if you're in business to make money, such as YouTube or podcasting or whatever, you need to understand your customer. And so that all lends to my ultimate goals at large. So great question. Only got a few left, bruh. Have you ever met anyone with a PhD in the Air Force? Countless. And that's what's crazy. Outside of the officers that, hold certain positions like doctors or, therapists, what have you, you'll come across random like art degree majors or something, like people that have like violin degrees or something, or people that wrote their PhD in like architecture. It's like some foolishness. I'm like, what are you doing in the Air Force, man? And like, I don't know, I just ran out of money. Like, you have a PhD. Well, what else is there, right? I'm like, I got my PhD in gender studies and humanities and basket weaving. Why, bruh? How much that cost? $200,000. You come across these people more often than not. People with master's degrees everywhere. I'm like, why are you not officer? Why are you not officer? Oh, my GPA was too low. I studied some dusty, historian philosophy with a minor in TikTok. It's too much. It's too much. And you come across that more often than not. So you'd be surprised how many people don't have, an actual applicable degree to the real world, or people that just walk around with, crazy, advanced degrees. So that's always interesting. Couple more questions, bruh. Anna B, I've been binging your deployment videos. They are so useful right now. I appreciate you. Aren't you at Columbus, or you're in somewhere in Mississippi, one of those bases out there? Appreciate you, Anna. That's love. That's love. And lastly, we have Dark Angel showing love. Hey, bruh. End of a journey, you understand? All good things must come to an end. And here we are. I never thought I would be getting out of the Air Force so early after 6 years, but it is what it is. Appreciate you, Melody. You start something and you think it's going to last certain, everybody has a plan, so they get hit in the face, and you start off with a plan and like, this is what I'm going to do. This is how I'm going to, plan my life out. And I thought I'll be doing 20 years and getting that guaranteed check the rest of my life. Well, things happen. Things happen, people. Don't get so caught up on what your plan is that you can't adjust to something better. Don't get so caught up in your tunnel vision of your plan that you can't recognize a better one. I want that specific thing so much that something better comes along and you have no clue. I'm like, Brett, back up. Just take a second and realize there might be a better option available. There might be a better option available. Appreciate you, Donnie. That's love. I want to say thank you to everyone who donated via super chat. Everyone who popped off on my Patreon. I'm grateful. I'm grateful. You guys have showed much love. I'm definitely grateful for those who have shown support, especially over the years, starting out. Those who have watched, those continue to watch, the Air Force content. I still answer Air Force questions, just typically not in video form on these channels anymore, maybe because it's a new chapter. I've moved on beyond that, and I think I've covered most stuff. I'm pretty sure I've covered most of the stuff as it relates to joining the Air Force and how to join the Air Force and how to deal with a recruiter, and I've dealt with so much of that. I think it's cool after 1,000 so videos to kind of move on to something different. So if you want more Q&As, or if you have more questions about the Air Force and that haven't been answered already, or you can't seem to find a video on it, definitely subscribe to my Patreon. It's only $5 a month. It's only $5 a month. It's a price of a Starbucks drink that I'm sure most of you, especially in my audience, we're kind of bougie. Your boy's doing what he can with the Keurig, ever so temporarily. You understand? But yeah, if you want to spare $5 a month to your boy, help your boy out on Patreon. Any question, it's pretty much anytime you ask me a question, it could be about anything, you can hit me up on Patreon. We'll definitely get you a response there. Also, I offer consultations one-on-one if you want to have a conversation with your boy. Links in the description. Again, my other channel, the Raymond Isaiah Podcast, that's where all my long form, my guests will be at. That's where I typically address long form content. Pretty much anything that's kind of popping off in the news, I typically address those. Anything that's kind of trending, you're going to see me addressing a lot more pop culture type stuff, a lot more newsworthy type events, because I'm here to be profitable. Your boy's here to be profitable. So talking about the Air Force stuff, it wasn't profitable. It wasn't profitable. It doesn't get the support, that I can pay bills with. And so ultimately, we're not on here to waste our time and just kind of talk aimlessly. It is therapeutic, and some people do come on here to, just talk about nothing. And I tend to be one of those people anyway that talks about nothing. But when it comes to just simply doing this not to get paid, I'm here to get paid. I'm here to get paid, whether it be through AdSense or through support of those who enjoy and support the content. So a couple more questions here. I'm not gonna ignore anyone. Lottie says congrats. Goes, hey, listen, I'm about to go do something, you understand? DW says, are you upset to leave? How did you change your mindset? I'm not upset to leave. I'm a bit disappointed. I am a bit disappointed about my career not going the full 20 years. I did have plans on doing 20 years. If you look at my earlier live streams, I had many questions about, are you doing 20? And most of the answers were yes. I had a lot of plans of doing 20 years in the Air Force. It just didn't work out that way. It just didn't work out. So I do have a level of disappointment of, I wish I could have went longer. I wish my experiences would have been slightly different. Maybe if I spent more time at a different base and I didn't experience the Alaska foolishness, or maybe if I had a chance to experience a different AFSC or a different job completely, maybe my experience would have been different. Maybe I would have did 20 years. But it just didn't work out that way. So I'm not going to cry over spilled milk. Move on, bro. A lot of my goals can't be achieved through the Air Force. A lot of my goals, I can't get to them via the Air Force. So at some point I was going to have to leave anyway. And so by realizing that, you kind of make the best of it. You realize most of the world is not in the military and they are successful. Meaning they can provide for their families, so that they can have experiences, they can go on vacations, they can travel, they can meet new people, they can date, they can have fun, they can do the same things I've been doing, just like I was doing before I joined the military. Most of the world is not in the military and they are successful. So it's a constant reminder to myself of, yes, you're disappointed, you wanted to do 20 years, you want to do longer in the military, but yeah, not everyone's going to do 20. Not everyone's going to join the military, period. Not everyone can join the military. So enjoy it while, I enjoyed the experience, 6 years. It is what it is, bro. New chapter. What else we got? Mouse Lord. What does a man gain through marriage he doesn't have access to in dating? Tax benefits. That's cap. A dependent can be a child. Tax benefit. I've heard all these answers already, bro. Like, I have yet to find any benefits in marriage that aren't accessible while dating. If I have a child and I'm not married, I can get tax benefits. It's an option. So I'm not gaining. Oh, he got tax benefits, bruh. He got tax write-offs. Nope. It's unfortunate, but yeah, it's not. It hasn't made the list. So again, I do want to say thank you to everyone who joined the live, everyone who donated, everybody who supported. Over the years, everyone who has watched my videos, commented, who's given me support, encouragement. Whether it be in the DMs or just watching, liking the videos. I do want to say, take a second, for the 17 of you who are still here, if you want to just ever so lightly tap the like button, real quick, man, real quick. If you just want to tap the like button, I will be grateful. I'll definitely be grateful. But yeah, if you have any other questions, any other, anything you want to talk about, get in contact with me. Links all in the description, and we'll definitely get you to the right place. But yeah, I gotta go to the gym. I need to go work out. But I definitely want to get this live out the way, and I'm definitely grateful for everyone who came and supported your boy. Patreon.com/Raymond Isaiah. If you want to support the channel long term, $5 a month. If you want to become a channel member, I think it's also like $5 a month or something. If you want to directly support me, Cashapp is also the links in the description. want to one-on-one consult, want to have a conversation about anything, anything whatsoever, links in the description. All links in the description. My second channel, links in the description. My clips channel, links in the description. Question about the gear, links in the description. But yeah, appreciate y'all. And I will see y'all in the next video. Say it was good. See your boy.